Welcome back to the Sice Room where DMV culture, politics, and hip hop collide. I'm your host, Trey Five, and tonight we have an incredibly special episode lined up. We're honored to welcome Councilman Calvin Hawkins, a dedicated leader fighting for the future of Maryland. Calvin Hawkins is more than a politician, he's an advocate for the people. He's running for county executive, and tonight we're giving him the floor to break down why his leadership matters, what changes he's fighting for, and why you need to show up and vote. But that's not all. We diving into some of the biggest conversations in culture today, from Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show to major political moves and legal battles. We're covering it all. Calvin, first off, welcome to the Sice Room. Let's get straight into it. What inspired you to run, and what are key issues that you're prioritizing in your campaign?
Thank you for this opportunity, Trey Five. I believe I've made it to the big leagues. I'm on the Sice Room. I'm Calvin Hawkins. I've been involved in Prince George's County for the government for the last 30 years. I grew up over in Glass Manor and Oxon Hill. I'm one of you. I've been through the changes and challenges of life. I don't supposed to be here, and I'm a representation of those men and women who have gone through the life changes and challenges and are going through things, and I want them to know when they see Calvin Hawkins, they see someone fighting for them, someone who's been through what they've gone through. Teenage parent at 16, did 5 years, 9 months of my life in prison, but that's not where it ended. I had an opportunity to get it together, come back out, get another chance, work with different politicians, and for the last 6 years, I've been a Councilman-at-Large. I served 2 years as our county council chair, 1 year as vice chair, because leadership matters. It's not where I've been, it's where I'm going. And the three issues that I'm focusing on that I believe will make Prince George's County a better place for all of us in this pivotal moment now that our great sister Angela Alsobrooks is now the United States Senator. We got to deal with public safety is the key to everything we do in Prince George's County. And I'm not talking about locking people up. I'm talking about how we help to make our communities safer, our schools safer, because public education plays a very important role in what we do. Out of the 23 counties in the city of Baltimore, we are fighting to become a world-class educational system. And I will say, Trayvon, last 6 years, we built 14 brand new schools, gave our teachers more resources to help our young scholars, no matter if they're in Suitland or Laurel, no matter if they're in Glass Manor or Bowie. We're doing what we need to do to bring equality and equitable opportunities for our students. And lastly, we got to build our revenue through our economic development portfolio. Right now, you may not know that 70% of our revenue come from our residential taxes, the taxes on your homes. 30% come from the businesses we have in Prince George's County. Over in Montgomery County, it's opposite. 70% of their taxes come from commercial taxes, and 30% come from the residential taxes. So I'm working to make our county better, and I'm accessible, I'm accountable. I'm one of you. I've come from where you all are and where you all have been, and I need your help to make Prince George's County better. Someone that's of the people, for the people, and understand leadership matter, because I care about each and every one of you.
Any of the panelists, man, y'all want to ask Calvin while we got him any particular questions, or do y'all want to express to let him know any particular issues that Maryland face in your area or of your experience that he should be known about?
So I was raised primarily in District Heights, and I had a question for like, what are the churches doing with all of these properties that they're acquiring? Are they going to do something to like put back into the economy of the areas? Because like you go up and down Marlboro Pike, Central Avenue, a lot of those properties are owned by the churches now, and it's kind of like desert, so to speak, like the old Giant on Marlboro Pike, that whole shopping center where the running shoot is at, in the different areas. Is there any kind of like, I don't really know how to word it. Is there any kind of plan that they had in mind with the county to utilize these properties, or are they just acquiring them to sit on them tax free?
And you're right, they are tax-free, they're non-taxable. But what I will share with you, one of my plans, because the same thing you're speaking of, as I ride down Marlboro Pike in different places throughout the county, especially in our older communities, faith institutions are buying up properties, but I'm going to have an incentive in my count, in my administration, to work with them and give them like a 2 to 3 year time to renovate, open up, and make certain that those properties that they're not making money off, but those properties have a way that they impact the community, because the churches play a very important role in building our communities. And I appreciate them purchasing these buildings, but I will work with them to make sure that the community know what the buildings are for and how they are going to use them. I agree. I can't let them as county exec hold those properties. I'm gonna work with them to build them out and make them a useful tool for our communities. You have my word on that.
Appreciate that.
You so much for your love and support and condolences when my brother passed away recently, September 10th. I definitely saw that, and I appreciate and salute that. So I got a billion questions for you, right? So one of the things that I see plaguing communities, whether it's in the district or in PG County, is the ongoing literacy problem that we see in our schools, right? No Child Left Behind created a situation in a vacuum where we kind of just pushing kids through, whether they acquiring the information or not. And after COVID, we saw a rapid decline in the literacy and the attendance and all this type of stuff. What's some of your, I guess, plans to kind of revitalize the education system and what's going on in both those areas?
One thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna collaborate with the superintendents and the school board members, because the county exec doesn't have authority, but he can use his influence in working. One of the challenges in Prince George's County, we don't work together as political leaders. I'm probably one of the few that can go to the school board, council, anywhere and talk to people, because I listen to them. They don't have to agree with me, but I listen to them. Having grown up in Glass Manor and seeing how inequitable education can be for those of us that look like us in those communities that most people have forgotten about. And that's been the kind of commitment I've lived with. And one thing I can assure you that those 14 schools we've built over the last 6 years, it is to give these young folk an opportunity not just to have new buildings, but to have teachers committed to educating and inspiring them and getting the best out of them, so they don't end up like I did or others did. And what I'm saying to you, brother, that I'm committed to fighting for our students first and foremost, especially our young men, those young boys. You know the thing, train and prepare young boys so they'll become strong men. That's my
Right.
commitment. That's my commitment to not only the young boys, but to the young girls, that they get a chance in this technology and all these advancements we have, that they get a chance to become what they want to come. They want to go to college, military, or just get a vocational. I want to make sure they are prepared. That's what we owe our young people. They'll see a future we may never see, but we owe it to them to prepare them. And my commitment to you is that's what I'm about. That's what I've been about. I'm probably the only elected official that visit one school a week. I wish I could do more, but I visit one school a week, inspiring young people to I tell them about my story, and I tell them that they can become more than I've could become. All they got to do is just keep working. And I understand the challenges, as you know how it is, especially those who are in single parent households or other issues young kids face. And they're vulnerable because they can't protect themselves. But we can protect them by giving them a kind of educational experience to inspire them to want to go to school instead of hanging on the streets.
I had a follow-up question, Trey, if I can. So also I know you said you was incarcerated for about 5 years or so. things of that nature. You just talked about all these advancements in technology in different industries. As somebody myself who this year makes 10 years since I was census and indicted, right? Largely, in fact, in part to do with the cannabis industry, which is now in $1 billion industry. Are there any things set in place for people like myself who might be a felon, who can't go get certain grants and can't go start now it's $1 billion, they selling cannabis shampoo at PetSmart. But a guy like myself can't even get an apartment in my name, or it's hard to, definitely not to go get a grant to start a a cannabis company, like so many people can do. Is there anything set in place, and maybe not just locally, but maybe even on a larger scale? Have you heard of anything any initiatives set in place to be able to create a pipeline for people who are actually involved in that industry when it might not have been established as it is now, to try to get them grandfathered in, so to speak?
Actually, speaking with even Angela Brooks before she became United States Senator, State Senator Nick Charles, and even Governor Moore. That's one of the issues every chance I get. Well, not every chance I get, but often enough I raise it because, as you know, Governor Moore pardoned everyone that was incarcerated or convicted for marijuana, cannabis, as you all call it now. So I'm fighting with them to come up with some solutions so that individuals like you can get an opportunity now that is legitimate, is legal, get an opportunity to have your involvement with cannabis. For me, as a felon, I have armed robbery, so there are things I can't do, like expungement and stuff like that. I can't get because of the violence of my crimes. So I live every day with the challenges of opening doors for individuals like you that because I'm in the seat, I'm sitting at the table, I have a voice to legitimize your concerns. So believe me, that's one of the things I'm working on, to open up some avenues for individuals who have been in the life when it comes to cannabis and have gotten convictions around that when it was illegal, can get a chance to, make some legitimate money with this now legal industry. So I'm with you. And so, go and check the record. When they first opened up these things, it was people that didn't look like us that got all the license and stuff. And my thing is 2025. We can't keep living like we're in 1950.
Right.
We got to be unapologetic in our requests.
So Councilman Hawkins, appreciate your time always, and definitely appreciate your commitment to the citizens in Prince George's County. I just have a quick question for you. This is Robert Johnson. Can you let us know, oftentimes people talk about the pockets of wealth that we have here in Prince George's County, but we also have pockets of poverty and many individuals that are living right on the line, right? So can you let us know what type of programs that you plan as county executive that would increase job creation in Prince George's County, and also workforce development opportunities, not only for returning citizens, but for recent high school graduates that may not have the skill set that they want right now to get into the job force, to the career fields?
One of the things, good question, Robert. One of the things we're seeing more and more, and it's evidence-based, that more young people coming from high school, graduating from high school, may not be interested in college or even the military, but don't have the skill set to do some of the things they want. We're going to work with Employ Prince George's and other groups to be evidence-based, measured outcomes to make sure our young people have a skill or a vocation they can use in this economy. While we got a lot of we got a lot of jobs, or it appears we have a lot of jobs in advanced technology, we also have countless jobs in vocation and trade that we need to establish vocation and trade back into our schools so that young people have that option. Now, I can talk about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. My main concentration is going to get is going to work to get vocation and apprentice back into our schools. And once I establish that, I can go to the next thing. It'll be vocation and trade back in our school, and have the industries that are businesses that are in Prince George's County commit to hiring these young men and young women when they finish their certifications.
Thank you, sir.
Economy for with our young people. But also, last thing, veterans are going to be involved in that process as well.
Mr. Hawkins, it's good to see you, and thank you so much for your service for Prince George's County. I'm also a lifelong resident of Prince George's County. I reside in Largo, Maryland. I go hard for my community. I go hard for my people of Largo, especially as it being I use the air quote, developing downtown Largo. But one of the things that I am passionate about that sometimes is not a topic that is, I like to call a sexy topic, but it's our stormwater systems in Prince George's County. I advocate for our regional stormwater here over there at Largo Park, where the homeowners manage the upkeep of that particular system. Very proud and honored to serve on the Wallace task force, stormwater task force, to look at the privately held systems throughout the county. But one thing that I can say is that sometimes it's a challenge working with the county in coming to the table, especially around the privately held stormwater systems. Most HOAs does not have the experience to maintain these systems. We are not engineers, and it doesn't become a problem until it's a health issue for the entire county. Now, I've aware that we're having issues with the stormwater system, not just in our area, but around Prince George's County, because again, we don't have the resources and the skill set to maintain them. What is your thoughts around the maintenance of our stormwater system, and not just our stormwater system, but also just protecting our natural resources? We don't want to end up like a situation where our water is just, to the point where it's a Flint, Michigan type of thing. And, and I understand that it's a systematic thing that we need to address. We need to address our community members and the litter and things of that nature. We need to address people using harmful in their yards. But just wanted to kind of get your thoughts and see where you are as far as protecting our natural resources, but specifically our stormwater systems, privately held stormwater systems around the county.
My track record speaks to it. I was in emergency management before I became a council member. And it was while I was in emergency management, I started noticing when we had rain for days, and when we had unusual amount of rain, or instead of raining for half a day, sometimes we get rain for 2-3 days. And that's when flooding really occurs. And I first became acquainted with the importance of stormwater management was you're in Largo, but if you go down White House Road or off Harry S. Truman Drive and go over there, the flooding that's a result of the stormwater. And as an emergency management person, I started looking at it. And it used to be an Asian guy, Dr. Chang, over in the Department of Environment, when it was called that. We would work to get government grants to address the stormwater challenges. And then we started noticing it across the county. And it really became significant. If you remember when they were building the interchange along Branch Avenue and off-road, people were losing their backyards and flooding. And if you know about Fort Washington, if you go further up, when the cliffs, people lost their homes because their whole backyard from stormwater over time just killed it. So my commitment to your question is, and Waller will tell you, I'm strongly in support of coming up with even more aggressive approaches to how we deal with stormwater management. As you know, under Rashawn Baker, we had giving millions of dollars to a company to address stormwater management. And a lot of that money went to the company and not to our communities. So I'm very, very keenly aware of what you're talking about. And that's the only reason I really supported the bag bill, so that all those plastic bags will stop ending up in our water system, in our basins, whether it was the Anacostia or wherever it was in there. And you know the impact because of what you said. You're astute to what's going on. So I will be the county exec that address it, because I think with our structural situation and some of those things we're building, but if we don't take into account how we deal with the runoff from these developments and how it's impacting your neighborhood, then we're in trouble. We're definitely in trouble. And by the way, y'all do a good job as residents and as a community keeping the stormwater pond over there very up to keep. I get envy sometimes when I see what we're doing in Perrywood and what you all are doing over there. So I'm watching, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's a labor of love from my community. And one of the things that we have to do, it's not just on our government, it's on us as community members. We have to take more ownership and more pride over our area. So just recently, we applied for the Chesapeake Bay Trust grant, right? So that would help supplement by adding rain gardens around the stormwater system, and also educating our communities on the importance of gardening practices, so that we don't have pesticides and things of that nature growing and ending up in our stormwater system. So I'm on it, and I appreciate you guys' effort as well.
I appreciate all the panelists asking y'all questions, man, so he can expound on why he the man to vote for. If there's any closing words you want to say before you get out of here, Calvin.
Thank you, Trey 5 again. I want to say I've been on Sice. I can go tell my old decrepit friends that I've been on Sice. They won't know what I'm talking about, but when I break it down that it was you, Trey 5, and all those great guests and them very profound, thought-provoking questions that I receive, I'm grateful. Trey 5, thank you, brother. Thank all of you. God bless you.
Thank you as well, brother, man. We definitely appreciate your time, man.
Hey, lastly, Trey 5, I'm going to check with you tomorrow.
Again, appreciate Councilman Hawkins, man. That was beautiful, man. This is a part of the whole reason why I created the Sice room, man. I was hoping, you said you made it to the Sice room, we made it to you, man. This is one of my dreams when I started this, to be able to get council members and, you know what I'm saying, people that's really in the community to be able to come and have the conversation with us, man. So again, leadership definitely shapes policy, and policy affects our daily lives. So again, we definitely thank you. So first segment, who's Sicing? Topic 1 is Kendrick Lamar's halftime show at the Super Bowl. Sunday's halftime show was one of the most influential shows for the culture, and Kendrick Lamar made sure everyone was talking. From Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam to a surprise appearance by Serena Williams doing the crib walk, and a bold performance of Not Like Us, Kendrick made a statement. In my Sicing, or was this one of the most impactful halftime performances we have ever seen?
You know, brother Kendrick, you know, I think he took on the challenge of saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to go in front of millions of people. They estimated that, you know, over 125 million people watched the Super Bowl. I'm going to go there and I'm going to go there with a message. I'm not going to go out there and be the buffoon. I'm not going to go out there and do slapstick. I'm not going to go out there and be the stereotype, right? So he sent the message to people, and those that are conscious, they got it right away. Some others, it took a day or two for them to digest it and get it, right? But they got it. At the end of the day, we have people talking about what? You know, Uncle Sam, Samuel Jackson coming out saying, hey, you know, we were the foundation of this country, right? The message that he sent out in the flags, right? This country is built on what? On the efforts and labor of who? Of us, right? So that's the message in the visual part of it. And then the songs that he chose, right? Each one of them had messages behind it, right? You're talking about, you know, brothers standing together and being targets and stuff on the corner, right? And you know, and just the dance routines and so many other things that were there, but then also the things that weren't there. We didn't have the negative stereotypes that were not shown that people were expected. They thought that since he was a rapper coming out there, that it was going to be, you know, we've all been to some rap shows where it's like, all right, you know what, this is some of this stuff is a little overboard. But he showed it, hey, you know what, that was our culture at its finest. He had rap, he had expression, he had lyrics, he had bars, he had, you know, he literally had a message behind it. It was diverse from a gender perspective. He had SZA out there with him, you know, but then he had, you know, male dancers out there doing their thing as well, and people weren't ready for it, right? So they'll say that it was boring because what? They thought it was going to be the traditional show. And I'm glad that he gave it to him like that and made people think. And the fact that we're still talking about it 2 or 3 days later, right, without a wardrobe malfunction, or without people going out there half dressed, half baked, and all this other stuff, right? It shows that he did his thing. So I'm happy that he went against the grain.
Man, you know, the biggest issue about this, right, is that, man, first of all, Dot already done the Super Bowl before. Let's get this clear. So when I say Dot, I'm talking about KDot, Kendrick, right? So when we see him up there, he got every opportunity to do the greatest hits. He got every opportunity to Sambo, Shuck and Jack. What's so funny is I seen some white guy, some famous actor, I can't remember his name. And he's doing some whole speech, some diatribe about how he's sick of the ghetto shit. And, you know, these rappers, and why don't they just take it back to the jazz musicians and this whole thing as he go on. And then he tell black people that we need to find somebody that's going to uplift us out the ghetto and the ghetto mentality. And it's the one, I mean, Kendrick got 5 Grammys just the other day. This guy got a Pulitzer Prize. This guy damn near nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, if we will nominate anybody in rap to represent us on that type of stage for that type of message, it would be Kendrick. It just tells you how detached people are. But what's crazy is for blacks, we've always had to be more in tune to their world than they've had to be to ours. So we know all about Friends and Seinfeld, and we know all about, you know, all their shows and all their artists, and we know the country artists and the Elvises, the Frank Sinatra. We know everybody, right? But they know so little about us. And it's just so crazy that they thought, ironically, as Sam Jackson was saying, they wanted him to play this role. Matter of fact, they probably thought, this is safe. Kendrick Lamar, this is safe, this is good guy. He's the good kid, right? Good kid, Mad City. So they had already put him in a box. Couple things. One, the songs that he previously had released that everybody would want him to perform, he don't own those rights, right? Those songs belong to Top Dog Entertainment. So the songs that he performed, he owned the rights to. So when you see, this is the most watched anything on TV in world history, right? Not just the most watched halftime show. This is the most watched anything, nigga, from anything. Nothing has ever been paused bigger than this. And so, and in front of this world stage with the world watching, with a smile on his face, he look in the camera and address Drake. After he addressed the country, after he do Squabble Up with an American flag built on the backs of black men, while he stands center field and looks straight up to the president box. He not dancing, he not smiling, he not putting on no show. Nigga, this for you, I want you to know. We not just laying down and just being, you know, passive about this. We going to fight. And this is a call to everybody else. Just, you know, when he say game over, it ain't just to Drake, right? It's to Drake. That's definitely, you know, enough with you, clown. But also to this whole movement that y'all think y'all about to get moving, enough of it. And we going to call the troops. I saw a lot of people who didn't like that. They want to hear the hits. That's their problem. This is art. A lot of people forget, because this is the music business, that this is music. And for musicians, we are artists. This Picasso, this Van Gogh. Kendrick was up there painting a Starry Night. He was up there. This is his Mona Lisa, nigga. He don't give a damn that you want to hear Pour Up, Drink. Nigga, go to Spotify if you want to hear that. But right now, when I got 155 million people watching, YouTube, all of this stuff, no, I'm gonna go ahead and make a point. And that's what he did. So salute to Kendrick, keeping his artistic integrity. Salute to him for uplifting us and letting us know that, you know, you got the choice, and we all got a choice. And I think that him and Beyonce and people like that who keep pushing the line forward when they have opportunities, create ample opportunity for the rest of us to do our own thing.
All right. For starters, I did want to start off by saying before the Super Bowl, I actually wanted to low-key cancel Kendrick just like on the back burner, because I felt like after his tracks, his most recent tracks that came out, that he was kind of shifting into the narrative of just like promoting a diss culture and just like, I don't know, bringing, I don't know, just a diss culture. But like, I was low key about to dismiss him. But when the Super Bowl came about, I ended up hosting a party. So like, I was in turn obligated to watch it. And I swear, as soon as he opened his mouth, like the first statements, I was like, he's been redeemed in my eyes. Because my issue was that like, I didn't hear him really vocalizing outside of his lyrics, like what he really wanted to put across, what was his mission, what, because people who's following him know, but a lot of people who just listen to like the trending hits, the ones that are mainstream and popularized, they don't understand like his full idea of what he wants for the culture, for the people within the community, within our communities. So I was like, I was happy to see that. I think that's very much needed. And I'm happy that what Floyd said, artistic integrity. I'm glad that he held on to his artistic integrity, because for a second I was like kind of scared. I was like, no, but I felt so happy to see that, and I feel like it was very much needed. And I'm glad that he was able to put it on such a big platform. The different levels of shoot, I lost my train of thought, but I was just glad it was I was glad to see what he produced.
Yeah, everybody's saying my sentiments as well. And first, just a shout out to Kendrick Lamar being the first solo hip hop artist on at the Super Bowl, performing at the Super Bowl. I think that's a major accomplishment and a win for Black culture and Black music. Having that honor of being the first, it's crazy that we're still saying that in 2025, but the man gets his prop for that. One thing that I wish, and again, I agree with the sentiment around just the messaging, the symbolism, everything was on point, but I almost wish he would have been a little bit more direct. I think we as a culture get the symbolism. We understand the messaging. We are artists in a sense, so all of it makes sense to us. But when I looked out there in the audience, I mean, I'm seeing Trump supporters bopping right along with it. And it didn't, for me, have that moment. For example, the Marianne Butte who did the pastor who did the service for Donald Trump. I mean, they were filming mad. Like they were like, it was so uncomfortable for them, sitting there listening at her like spit the facts, spit compassion, spit the truth. I don't know if the people attending, the supporters of Trump and him and his camp experienced that like, oh my God, this is uncomfortable. I wish he would have made them mad instead of partying. But at the same time, I understand that the brother was, I mean, you at the Super Bowl, he signed all type of contracts. He, to an extent, you know, he was censored. But I think that was the only thing that I wished it was a more uncomfortable situation that it was. But again, still, mad respect, mad props to the message, the mission, the symbolism, everything I thought was spot on.
Yeah. So, Brother Randy, so what I'll follow up with that is, right, I agree with your points, but I'll add this. So I think, you know, in that space, when you got the attention, let's just say 40% or 30% of those at 150 were people with melanated skin, right? So you have that there. You have to take the opportunity to talk to them, right? Oftentimes we say, okay, how am I going to get a message across to everybody else, right? So I like this approach where he went. He says, you know what? I'm gonna use this platform to deliver this message to my people, right? If everybody else get it, so be it. But you know what? I'm speaking to them because right now they tuned in. Where else do we have the opportunity where one person, right, can speak to 20, 30, you know, can speak to 10 million of us at a time, and they're hanging on every word. You know what I mean? So I'm happy, for me, in my opinion, that he said, I'm going to speak directly to mine. And if everybody else hears it, let them go ahead and bop. And when they really decipher it and they get it, they're like, damn, was talking about me. He wasn't working with me. I'm bopping and moving my head to this. And they don't even know that they're getting talked about. So it's sometimes, you know, you can speak over somebody's head and they agreeing with you. And then they don't understand that, you know, you just cursed them out until they got home. Right. So I'm happy that he did that. And in the space that he did it, because that platform is the single most, to what my brother said earlier, is the single largest platform every year in the country.
Before we take it to the open floor, I want to get Buckley's opinion on this.
Yeah. I think it's more so they gave them the powers that be that put them in position to do Super Bowl. I think they really put them in that position because of the conflict, because of the song itself. They were sold on it, but it was more so. I give him kudos for what he did with the moment, and it did go over a lot of people's heads. It was more like a Broadway musical. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, you can't please everybody. That's first and foremost. There was a lot of people that didn't want to see him there for whatever reason. They watched it anyway just to complain because they didn't get the message. And a lot of times when things go over people's heads or they don't understand it, they result to anger or hating or what have you, turn it apart instead of trying to understand what's going on. So I give him kudos for the way he delivered the message and using the platform to deliver a strong message and not just, you know, putting on a performance, so to speak, because we know Kendrick can perform. He can do an elaborate stage show. That's not what he went out there to do. So, yeah, you know, it ain't for everybody to get. Everybody not gonna make the journey. And the ones that did get the message know what to do with it, or they know, you know, where to take that.
Now to moderate, guys, not to cut you off, Floyd, but to moderate, to give I'm the moderator, guys. I'm sorry, I gotta speak for the people that can't speak, that ain't here. Some of the pushbacks was, like Z said, the overcompensating for diss culture, the overcompensating for the number one track, the all of the attention being around the track that's dissing another, quote unquote, depending on how people feel about it, black man. Even though Drake is a Canadian, he, I guess, predominantly isn't from America, he is a black man. His father is black. So a lot of people do take issue with the performance being circulated and catered around black on black beef and hate in hip-hop culture. Not only another pushback, Floyd, is Serena Williams, man, doing a Crip walk. They said her sister was killed by a Crip. They feel like she's a professional athlete, she's a married woman. Her coming out and doing a Crip walk, perpetuating gang violence, people feel like that was an issue. A lot of people felt like I gotta say a lot of people felt like also to go to Buck's point that even though you said it's over people's head, a lot of people felt like when they entertain or indulge into the Super Bowl halftime show, it's for entertainment. It's not for what they feel is a political speech, or what they feel like is not a stage for a political presence. Hence, Beyonce getting the same type of backlash with her performance.
I'm gonna push back on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a lot of those type of things, because we don't have a lot of y'all are pretty much in unison with how y'all feel about the performance. So I know people that aren't in unison, and I had to make sure I researched for devil's advocate and wanted to know how y'all feel about those points.
I'm gonna push back on the entertainment aspect, because let's be realistically honest. The Super Bowl has not been entertaining. The halftime show ain't been entertaining in I don't know how long. Usher show, they was complaining about that. When Rihanna came out there pregnant and that joint was dry, they was complaining about that. When Snoop came out there with Dre brought Snoop and all them out there, and 50 was hanging upside down, it was going on them about that. When it wasn't a black artist performing at the Super Bowl, they was complaining about that. People were going to complain about stuff all the time. They going to something wrong with something that's not going to please everybody. It's just like you can't please everybody, bro. It's not something that's possible. What was the other one you said?
I went on and on and on and on. It's plenty of issues that people have with the halftime show. Like you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm not speaking for myself, but I have to, you know what I'm saying, be able to segue the information for y'all. It's like a lot of people had a lot of issues with that halftime show. Y'all can't act like y'all didn't run across these.
I read them. Go ahead, D.
Who, me?
Go ahead.
Is it me?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So can you hear me? Am I on? So Trey. So can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yeah. Do your thing, brother.
All right. So the MAGA did have an issue with it. Now they pissed off. Like, I don't know if they pissed the fuck off. Like, like they pissed the fuck off, but they feel insulted, they feel tricked. You know how it is when they think they got a good nigga. You know, they think they got a little scratchy ass, and you know, they think they got a little soft ass nigga. They don't know that's Marcus Garvey in a. I mean, they don't know who Kendrick is. But this would go back to what I said earlier. They don't really know us. They see an aesthetic, and they'll see me think I'm dumb. Oh, he got tattoos, he got dreadlock. They see that and they think shit. This is tried and true. They think this is tested. Oh, his skin dog, he must be stupid, right?
I don't think they go that though. You can't think that about Kendrick. If you did any kind of research or homework, you can't think that about.
Guys, did y'all guys not see the pushback about the bell bottoms and the zesty walk? And is there any y'all have any issue with that? Okay, I gotta bring up everything. You know what I'm saying?
I wasn't a fan of the bell bottoms, but I'm not gonna nitpick about it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man, Andre 3000 walks out there looking crazy. Prince done walked out with his ass out, so we can't say nothing about none of that shit. Let's just be real, dog. Let's be real. You know, sometimes you got to put the medicine in the candy, though. You know, sometimes we talking about 134 million people watching. So you kind of, sometimes it's okay for them to be dancing, and they not like us. They dancing like shit. They don't realize it. But the way they feel about us, the things they feel about us has been subconsciously implanted in them for generations and generations. The same way we feel, the way we feel on our end from years and years of trauma that we've been subjected to and survival tactics that we've had to adopt. They have this ignorance given to them naturally. I mean, they get it honest from their stupid grandparents and their stupid great grandparents and so on and so forth. So, you know, sometimes you gotta, and a lot of times, oftentimes it is the music and it's the culture, you know.
Is there any issue with anybody feeling like the perpetuation of gang culture? Anybody have any issue with that? Do your thing, brother. Do your thing, brother.
I don't have no problem.
So watch this. Huh?
I mean, I think it's a reach. You know what I'm saying? They from Compton. That's a part of California culture. She was dancing. She was disrespected during the beat. She was out there doing the performance. I don't see nothing really wrong with that. I mean,
hey, Buck, would you want to be her husband?
Yeah.
Her husband said she could do it. If he had a problem with it, she would have been up there.
But hold on, past that, Buck. Let me stop right there. Everybody's making this about, oh man, Serena doing this against her ex. Niggas forget that Drake got a whole song with 21 Savage where he talking big shit about Serena Williams' husband. Big shit. So, nigga, she not doing that just because we was together 20 years ago. And by the way, to kind of offer something against what Z said. I mean, gang culture. Drake has made millions of dollars. We didn't do this when he was saying, "Is that your girl tour or world tour?" Hey, Z. We didn't do this when he said, "Trey, hold on, Trey." We didn't do this when he said, "It bothers me when the guys get to acting like the bras," and we said the same scheme, man.
It was different for Kendrick. For me personally, I'm like really a Kendrick fan. So for me, I was more disappointed that it was a diss because of his level of understanding and intelligence and understanding of what's going on. Like I don't see Drake in that same realm. Like you know how you expect different things from different people based off of their level of understanding. So I was just but he did put the medicine in the candy, like you said.
Z, I think you're a very nice person, Z. I think you're a very sweet person. I don't think that if somebody comes and smacks the shit out you in the middle of the street, you're going to be understanding because you're smart and nice. Right. I think sometimes you defend yourself.
But like, I don't know, like I feel like he had so many different times where he could have spoke up about different things. And like for that specifically, I just feel like it's a big attack on that specifically against Black people bringing each other down. And I just felt like just that, but it just also goes back to society. Like we also were the ones who hyped it up and made it as big as it was or is. So like that is charged to us, it's charged to society. So we can't even put that off on him.
Why do
can I ask the panel Can I ask the panel a question?
Drake deserved all that shit. Drake deserved all that shit. He deserved somebody in real life to smack the shit out of him. But he deserved all of it. It was look.
I'm gonna ask a 2-part question for it because I want you to answer it for me and the other ignorant folks that's participating right in the show, not like the fans that don't know, not in a bad way, ignorant, but those of us that don't know. You said if somebody came and slapped Z, she had to fight back. I want to know what action did Kendrick get slapped where he had to fight back? That's for one, and for two, for us that don't know, we also want to know, like, because you brought up the Meek situation. So for us that don't know, a lot of us, even me myself, I want to know what is the difference. Because Drake was the Kendrick in the Meek situation. I don't know how a lot of people don't have the same energy for the Drake and Meek beef that they have for the Kendrick and Drake beef, which is pretty, I don't understand, because Drake was pretty much the same guy. And Meek exposed ghostwriting. Meek exposed him getting peed on. Meek exposed him getting slapped by Diddy. Meek exposed a lot of things, and people did not give him the same type of love that they get in Kendrick, even though Meek has a very hip-hop upbringing, the way he came into hip-hop, where he's from, his origin. So I just want to know for y'all to expound on what is the difference between the Drake and Meek beef, the Kendrick and Drake beef, and also Floyd. I want Floyd to start, though. And also, when did Kendrick get slapped the way he had to respond? Like, he had to slap back.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember the 16 questions you just asked in one question. All right, look, where was the slap at? It really been years of jabs, subtle comments, subtle shit. It been years of that. When he in the song talking about if I was a conscious rapper, I had your fan base. All of this shit he been saying for years. So they really been going back and forth. But when you put a song out where him and Cole going back and forth, and Cole showing Kendrick the love. Cole saying it's the big three. And Drake said, nah, nigga, it's just me and Cole. He basically said, fuck that other nigga y'all talking about. This just me and my man right here, right? He on tour, he saying shit on stage. That's the shit we see. Right now, we know this the music game, but who knows what done happen behind the scenes, right? That's just on top of that. So just publicly, the disrespect at some point got to come to an end. And even when Kendrick responded on it like that, so now we just got, let's say we start. If we was to start, we're gonna treat this like Gaza. If we was to start the war right there, right? The 2-man shooter, whatever it's called, and then the like that response, right? First person shooter, my bad. So then you got like that. Then Drake puts out 3 or 4 songs before Kendrick put out one.
Back to back.
Put out 3. Watch this. Not only did he put out 3 songs, but he said, talk about the kids, talk about me fucking with young girls. He said all of this shit. He said the ghostwriter shit.
Baby daddy.
Look, dog, he do a song where he using Tupac voice and Snoop and all this. He telling Kendrick, nigga, jump crazy. Out there, nigga. No, Drake doing all. Drake is telling him, man, jump out there, nigga. Deuce, you can't run now. Huh?
Can I bring it to perspective?
Hold on, wait.
Oh no, cook. Oh, cook.
Because you asked me 15 questions. So this is the slap. This is the slap, though, right? This is the slap. Hey, Trey, I pulled up in front of your house, nigga. I'm outside, nigga. Come outside, bitch ass, nigga. Yeah, I'm doing all the front door, right?
Is first person shooter this?
No, this is
top
this
3,
is first
me,
person.
Kendrick and Drake. That's pull up at your front door.
No, this is the 3 songs before Kendrick responded with one. Yeah. And then when Kendrick hold on, I'm gonna get to me. But when Kendrick finally responds with the one song, he asks one thing. Let's leave the family out of this, nigga. Let's keep this a friendly fade. It ain't gotta be. We ain't gotta do nothing too crazy. Don't bring my bitch up. Don't bring my kids up. We don't gotta do none of that. First thing Drake do is bring up who? Your girl fucking your best friend. Your kids ain't yours. This violation, right? This is a violation. If we saying we just gonna have a friendly little who's a better rapper, then that's what we should have kept it at. He didn't. The reason why people not looking at the Meek shit the same is because a couple things. One, you gotta know that Drake represents what a lot of these guys wish they was, or what they represent too, right? a guy who might not have been the toughest guy, might not have had no street cred, got that good job at the Metro, got that good government job. Now they in the club buying bottles. Now they living, they wearing Montclairs and drinking rosé. They living the dope boy life. They emulated it, but they never really had to do the things to actually get to that point. So when you look at a Drake and a Puffy, these are the guys that got the money. And now, remember, like you said, Drake got pissed on and slapped around by Puff. Well, now you'll never piss on him or slap him around again because he got hundreds of millions of dollars, nigga. He get you whacked, right? And they say he done it. So
is Kendrick not the same guy?
No, because the difference is who Kendrick is right now is who he was when he was broke too, bro. Like
he was thugging.
All accounts say who he is right. Listen, he just had broke every record known to man. He not up there smiling.
So Kendrick was thugging before music.
All accounts.
I don't know. I'm asking.
All accounts say so. All accounts say so. And then on top of that, you know, that was part of Drake's whole thing. Like, I got more gangsters in LA than you. I got more hoods in LA than you. And so then Kendrick does what nobody in LA has ever done in the history of rap music, which is bring all these hoods and all these places together on one stage, right? He done something that every LA artist in the world, when you hear them talk right now, talk about how nobody ever done nothing like this in history. I'm talking about Ice-T saying this. Nigga, Ice Cube, everybody, every gangster in LA you could think of.
Gangster, or is that because he's a musician?
It's a combination of the two. Watch this.
Like you got the tone of the people. People fuck like they rocking with Kendrick because they know he ain't no.
Trey.
I just want to know when Kendrick went from Backpack to Blood.
Nah,
I don't want to make the whole episode about Kendrick.
Not that.
No.
Like, you know how you might have grew up in the neighborhood. You might have been the basketball player that was really talented. You know what I'm saying? You got family members that's in the street. You grew up in the neighborhood. So everybody already know you, they respect you. And once you get to the next level and you choose the other route, they're going to support and push you up. That's more like the lifestyle. He ain't like necessarily gang banging, so to speak. He's from the neighborhood.
Fuck that. But fuck that. He on the Good Kid, Marriott City, talking about smoking PCP with niggas in the van and doing a drive-by. Nigga, what y'all do you listen to rap music or do you just skim through it? This is the first album. Album he's telling us.
We've seen this before, though, Floyd.
That's art, bro.
No disrespect.
But the first album was like, I'm going to get y'all attention. I'm going to bring it all in. And then the second album, he was on Brother Malcolm.
No disrespect. Hey, not to finish no disrespect to the dead, but we've seen this before. That's pop.
You don't have to be.
We've seen this before.
Right. So
different between art and real
so Trey, did Pac pretend to shoot them cracker police that was fucking with the black guy, or was that just art? When he lined their ass up and let their ass have it in the middle of the street.
Kendrick ain't nobody though,
brother.
It's not just.
Are y'all comparing Tupac to Kendrick?
No, he was asking about his background. He's a Cali kid that's from Cali. They got Cali ties, but he don't necessarily be the one doing all of the extra Cali shit. You know what I'm saying? They stand behind him because when the Cali motherfuckers get in the rap game, it's like Cali versus everybody. So they're gonna get behind whoever is the representative of the state.
But stop. We're not gonna make it seem. Look, Tiger can't do what Kendrick did.
Tiger ain't Kenny. That's why Kenny got the whole city on a ceasefire, because Kenny is Kenny.
Tiger not Kendrick because it's upbringing or because it's music.
Stop, Trey. Are you tripping?
Asking y'all. I have no idea. Hey, look, Trey. Look, if you asking me, Floyd, if anybody know from the Sice room, I always stamp this every day. One thing that you may catch me idolizing, as far as men, no Diddy or no Funny, no nothing, pause, is athletes, right? But when it comes to music or actors, I do not idolize entertainers. Maybe athletes you might catch me slipping, but I don't idolize entertainers, guys. So when it comes to their life outside of the music, I never take that personally. In conversation, I'm gonna push back and with y'all in this conversation. But me, when you asking me, I don't want you to get mad at me. When you asking me, I don't idolize none of these guys.
But this is not. But
I grade them based off their music.
What
they portray in their music.
If we basing it off, it's not about no idolatry, nigga. If we basing it off the music, if we basing it off the music, what he said since day one, his music and all of these projects has been very consistent. Hell, To Pimp a Butterfly, the whole front cover was nothing but Pyru's from Compton and him in the middle of all of them. His whole image since day one.
No, so you can expound, Brody. I say that because I don't have the knowledge you got on Kendrick as far as his discography, right? So with me not having that, I don't assume. So only thing that's gonna make me assume is idolization. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you know more than me is why I'm asking the questions, not because I'm like just challenging him. I want to educate myself and the people. You feel me? That's all.
But that's why there is this backlash, right? Because the general perception of Kendrick thus far has been that, you know, he's this good kid. First of all, he's 5'6", you know. So like just looking at him, he don't look like a very. That's why Drake underestimated him. The first song he's talking about the nigga's shoe size. Let me tell you something.
The difference between Kendrick and Meek, y'all. Everybody, please tell me. I want everybody go one by one. Please tell me, guys. This is our generation. We lived through it. What from left to right, Z to Rondé to Floyd to Buck to Boom. What is the difference between Meek Mill and Kendrick Lamar?
That's a crazy question, my bad.
Okay, so I think that the timing is just different, and just the way society responds to things as well. The sentiments, the attachments, everything, the way that people are handled, the cancel culture is way different now. But yeah, I think it's the timing that's just different. I really don't think it's much difference in the situation.
Yeah, I would piggyback off of the same thing. I feel like we're just in a totally different, unique space where everybody's on edge. The tension, the racial tension that's just drumming up by the second. It feels like we're just in a different space. And then going back to your original question around, you know what I'm saying? It's the culture. We understand the beef culture. We understand that, it's going to drum itself up. That's just the nature of hip hop. We're going to have that. But also there should be some level of accountability that we just take a step to the side to say, hey, listen, we're in a different time. Energy, we have to protect our energy at all costs and understand where I invest my energy and where I don't invest my energy. If we invest our energy too much in the beef, who, this, that, and the third, we're missing the mark. We don't have time. We're in a deficit right now, and so we don't have time to miss the mark. And I think that as he was saying, this is just a different space that we're in, that we need to think about it a little bit different. That's the only difference that I see between Meek and Kendrick, is just the timing.
Hey, what's your name? Rondé?
It's Randy. My mama was special. She ain't want to have it with a Y.
Yeah,
it's just Randy. I get Rand. I get so I'm used to it. It's just Randy, man.
That's like shout out to Randy.
I'm trying to put a spin on it.
Yeah, I get it all the time, brother. No cool, no do.
Now Randy said some tight shit just now, like, and I agree with you 1,000%, big dog. Like when you talking about the energy. And that's why I like what Z said earlier too. It's about whatever you feel about Kendrick's performance, right? The masterful thing I think he was able to do, right? We talk about the difference between him and Meek, is that the moments. Meek had a pause. Meek had a bigger moment when he lost to Drake, right? But he had he went away. He came back with championships. He had the business coming because of Amos. He had the Joe. You know what I'm saying? He had hits, right? He came back. Same thing Jay-Z did when he lost to Nas. Come back with girls, and all this. He got hits. Blueprint. I got hits, right? So what Kendrick did, right? Couple things. One, he capitalized on the moment with that G and X jump. Then at the show, instead of dwelling on the beef, right? Yeah, I'm gonna get to the song. It's a hit song. But before that, I'm taking the moment and making it way bigger. I know everybody's watching to see if I'm gonna diss this black man. It's what Cameron tried to do on CNN, but he went up there and kind of fucked the whole joint up like a couple months ago. Because he knew they wanted him to talk bad about Puffy, but instead he went up there, promoted his podcast, promoted his little little supplements, and he was like real arrogant and ignorant with it. But Kendrick took the moment because he knew everybody was watching to see if he gonna disrespect Drake, and he made a bigger message happen. And so for me, that's the difference. Execution. Man, he let Drake He let Drake empty a clip on him. Didn't respond. Drake came back again. He didn't respond. Drake came back again. He didn't respond. This is all the war shit, Trey. He just sat on him, bro. He sat in the bushes on this nigga. And he just waited till Drake came home drunk and comfortable, nigga. And then he came out with some shit real low key, right? He real calm. Drake came back, fell for the bait. He came back again. He dropped when he was supposed to drop. I mean, when Drake dropped and we thought, damn, Family Matters is tight. What Kendrick gonna do? Kendrick was at his ass by 6 p.m. that night, nigga. I'm right back on you, nigga. It was chess.
Can I say something?
That's the difference. Meek ain't no chess player by far, nigga.
Can I say something?
Meek don't rap as good as Ja. That's another thing. Meek was saying some shit, but Meek yelling at you. Meek like, you got pissed on in the movie theater. Like, nobody want to hear that shit. But Kendrick, he's so calm. Like Kendrick, man, Kendrick sleepwalking you to death. Like,
can I say two things, fool?
Nah, do your thing. Let Bucket do his thing, and then boom, I'm gonna let you do your thing, let you rock all the way out, Brody, because you just got in here.
The two differences between the Meek situation and Drake's in the Kendrick situation. One, Meek kicked it off. Kendrick didn't kick it off. Kendrick was basically in defense mode. That's the first thing. So I would say execution and support. Meek didn't have no support, and he got flustered in the middle of the battle. Cause it's like I'm trying to. He got off his. Yeah, he got flustered. So it's like he's trying to start the situation by saying, "Oh, he's not a real rapper. He's a ghostwriter. This, that, and the third." And nobody's responding to it, and they kind of just siding with Drake with the poppy back-to-back club hits or whatever. So he didn't have a support system. Rick Rossman wasn't behind him. He had no label support. Everybody's kind of left him out there, and he didn't have real good execution. Kendrick was a marksman in the whole scenario. You know what I'm saying? Everything was very much calculated. He sat back, gathered all of his responses, and then just strategically dropped them until he put the nail in the coffin. So, and he had the support of the whole industry because everybody was tired of Drake at the moment. So that's the difference.
On you, Bone.
You know what Bubba Dub said?
Trash.
Trash, bro. I'm only reason why people talk about Kendrick is because they're Kendrick fans. Outside of that, trash. He took an entire situation and aimed it at one nigga, bro. He missed his mark, fool. If he wanted to gain fans, that was not the way to do it, bro. He should have did what he was supposed to do, bro. That was not it. All
what was he supposed to do?
Shit, all this blah blah blah. And I get the message, I do. But at the end of the day, it should have been Wayne and the big timers, bro. It should have been.
Whoa.
Let him get his shit off. Let him get his shit off.
Bro. Period.
Why?
Because at the end of the day, bro, if you was about money and if it was about marketing and if it was about true fans and shit, and they really wanted the crowd to go, it would have been Cash Money. Cash Money would have did way better than what Kendrick did, bro.
How?
Yeah. How? Cash Money, bro.
Hold on. Why was Wayne supposed to be at the Super Bowl?
Wow, are you serious, dog?
Yeah, I need an answer.
Are you serious? So you think Kendrick is bigger than Wayne?
Yes, he is. He's the hottest person in the country right now.
No, never. Kendrick will never be bigger than Wayne, bro.
He's way hotter than Wayne right now. Wayne's not relevant. How many times was the Super Bowl in New Orleans?
Wayne created him, bro.
How?
Is he better than Wayne?
Hey, Boom.
Wayne created him, dog. You cannot outshine the master that created you.
How many times has the Super Bowl in New Orleans?
I also want to say y'all answers for the difference of Meek and Kendrick. I like Randy and Z. Timing I think is cool. Other than that, I am not satisfied with you guys' answer. That shit is not.
It ain't had nothing to do with timing.
That shit is bullshit.
Listen.
Meek exposed way worse shit than motherfucking Kendrick exposed. Drake made way better music against Kendrick than he made against Meek. Granted, Kendrick music was better than Meek's. No, granted, Kendrick's music was better than Meek's. Granted that, right? But Family Matters was way better than bro. Nick, when y'all say Meek had the L, when y'all said Meek held that up, hear me out. You have to hear me out, fellas. When everybody say Meek took that L, Guess who gave Meek the L, guys? We did. It wasn't
No,
white
Drake
America's
did.
man. It wasn't. No, we did, nigga.
Why did we give him the L?
Nigga, we could have treated Jake today. How we treated him today, the same way niggas could have treated his ass years ago. Because before Pusha T, before all of that, he been was blackface. He been did all of the shit that niggas is
and
alleging he did, bro. Niggas act like this is some fucking new Drake. He been the same Drake since the Meek beef. This shit is
been the same
selective outrage. This shit is selective outrage.
Can I say something?
This shit selective outrage, bro.
The whole time, dog. That's why I'm saying the
That nigga been
execution.
the same nigga.
If it was that easy, then why did it take so long for them to knock him off there? Because everybody tried, but nobody is succeeding until now.
That's what I want to know.
Because
let me say something though.
That's why the execution was trash.
Look, hold on, wait, hold on, Buck. So look, watch this.
Niggas
Can I say? Look, let me just say this. Hold on, wait.
Man. Niggas is too busy wanting Drake
Trey, you
features.
just answered your question.
Now do your thing, bro.
You just answered your question. You just answered your question, Trey. Right? You just named a list of different opponents he's had over the years, right? So the first opponent, right? If I punch you one time in your nose, it might hurt, but it ain't gonna bust your nose. Maybe I punch you again, same spot, might hurt a little bit more. But now in the college, loosening up. I punch you again third time, that motherfucker gonna start gushing. Nigga, this is what happens to public consciousness and awareness. Maybe the first time niggas ain't catching when Meek wasn't that great with his execution, like somebody just said. Okay, I don't know what answer you looking for. Somebody just said
great fucking point.
Meek,
I ain't hear that.
no, Meek came out and he had some good points. But first of all, niggas was so surprised that he was even going at Drake because we thought y'all was cool. And now you saying he got pissed on.
It wasn't him. His man got pissed on. The Ghost Rider got pissed on in the movie theater. That wasn't Drake. But go ahead.
Didn't all this stuff happen over?
But I'm, it was still a headline. You feel me?
Didn't it all happen over a bitch?
It was a headline.
Look. But why we acting like the control verse? Why we acting like the control verse didn't happen? And then why we acting like first person shooter didn't come off as a competitive context? He didn't say nothing about him beating this girl. They didn't do none of that in first person shooter.
They've been
then if it was so bad, why would J. Cole do a lyrical exercise?
No. Why did J. Cole cop out after he dropped it?
It was competitive nature.
Exactly.
Who crossed the line first?
J. Cole knew it wasn't competitive because he dropped Mike Elite later. My Bad Apology album. He knew it wasn't just all shit and giggles because he made that apology and withdrew immediately. He knew shit was real.
No, he didn't, but he didn't. Cole did some fake shit. Cole waited a week and let those album sales do what it was going to do with that disc. And then after he got the album sales, he took it off the project. That's
he
what
didn't
Cole
want no
did.
Smoke. He came out and publicly apologized on stage that I don't want no smoke.
Yeah, but he got the smoke. To Floyd's point, he got the smoke that he needed, and then went through the back door.
He could have got more smoke if he'd have kept it going.
That wasn't what his smoke was intended for, though. But
listen, he knew that shit was real, and he got out the kitchen.
Nah, that nigga used it for what he needed to use.
He
knew what was going down. He knew what was going down, bro.
Cole knew what he couldn't do.
And so look,
he got about
it. To boom, right? Look, Kendrick's goal is it to get new fans, nigga. This the Super Bowl. He don't need new fans. He's not like some old rapper that's like fucked up trying to find his way. He did 133,500,000 views. It's the most watched anything in the history of TV. He don't need no new fans, nigga. He got enough. He got the most viewed piece of television ever.
Video.
What was?
Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. What's
his performance?
Nah, forget
his performance was the most viewed. It was the most viewed piece of TV in history.
So
history.
So are we talking about?
Go look up how much them Kendrick concert tickets cost and tell me if he needs fans.
It's not even that. You can't compare his numbers to what numbers that are real, because you're talking about streams versus reality.
Streams are reality.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that Michael Jackson's was the most viewed.
Are y'all saying Kendrick a better artist than Drake?
What?
I'm saying Kendrick is a bigger artist than Drake.
Hell no. Hell no.
Right now he is, yeah.
Hell no. No, he's
No,
not.
he's
Right now he
not, bro.
He
absolutely
can't
is.
be. That nigga
Right
made the
now,
whole Super Bowl.
right now he
He
absolutely
made a
is.
Super Bowl.
All right, can I ask one more
about
question
Drake.
though? Just because I really want to know. And look, and for y'all, we can make the whole episode about Kendrick if y'all want. Or y'all got the topics, we can move on. It's on y'all. But I do want to ask a question, right?
Before we go, can I say something?
Do your thing, bro.
How can you say that Drake is not bigger than Kendrick when Kendrick made an entire diss show about Drake?
It wasn't a whole show about Drake. It gave him 30 seconds, man. Come on, boom.
Nah, bro. The
30 seconds.
Subliminal message.
Hey, come on, y'all.
Drake.
Y'all gotta be serious, bro.
The message is to America.
It was
the
about
Drake
Drake in
situation
America.
was already big.
Hold on, bro. So hold on, Boom, because obviously you can't wait for that new Drake and Party Next Door to drop. So when Drake walk out there, when Drake walk out in Australia with a T-shirt with a hoodie that been shot up while he holding the remote control in his pocket,
they got a song in his back pocket.
This isn't him taking the battle and capitalizing off of him for profit. For sure it is. It's smart business. Everybody's going to find a way. Drake is going on the top streamers in the world platform talking about custard. Like he is having fun and making money, millions off of the battle.
At the end of the day, they're both friends. At the end of the day,
they're both friends.
I don't think they.
You can't be friends if you saying you can't be friends if you saying I'm a pedophile, dog.
Definitely,
you can't be friends if you say
they're using this platform to make money, and they're using their.
What y'all think is what y'all think is worse, domestic violence or pedophilia?
Pedophilia.
I think if you tell me my kid is my man's kid because my man was knocking my girl down.
I just want to understand why everybody believe he's a pedophile, but nobody believe he beat his woman. With Puffy recently going down in his case.
Because
do y'all know that?
I think people are.
I'm sorry. You know that pedophilia is.
I was going to say I think people okay with it because when the song came out.
Hold on, Floyd. Oh, Boone, you just said what?
I don't want to sound funny. Right? Now when you talk about what you're talking about, you got to remember, right? You cannot mix morals and law, right? So when I say that to say this, we know what's right and wrong, meaning we know what we're not going for. Meaning us personally, we know 18 older, that's what we know, right? There are laws in different states that don't say that. They say 13 and 14. That's what I'm saying. So like
what states are those?
Mississippi, Alabama. You go down south.
Mississippi and Alabama, you could do what at 13?
I'm just saying. I'm just naming different states that
Go
you
to
can probably do that.
AsiaConsent.com, Trey.
No, I'm just asking y'all a question. You could do what in those states at 13?
You can marry.
What? You can be what?
The age
you can literally marry.
You can marry, or you can have a baby.
Yes, you can marry.
You can marry, have a baby.
Right. That is.
You can get a license.
Yes. How you think
you can drink smoke?
Aaliyah got married at what, 14?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I'm dead ass serious. I'm not saying me.
Educate me and the people, please.
So what I'm saying is pedophilia is embedded in our society. And they're trying to bring it back. This isn't new.
That's good.
What I'm saying is this shit has been going on since the Greek times.
I just want to know, do we believe all of it or do we believe none of it from both sides?
I don't believe it's right.
That's all I want to know.
I don't fuck with it at all.
Because Puffy didn't get no charges for domestic violence until we caught him on video. So it's like
I'm like you, Trey. The charges and allegations is two different things now. People say things, there's the allegations going on about different various things within the Hollywood space for years. Whether people choose to believe them or not, that's different. Some of these things don't catch traction because of they're being paid off or buried, thrown under, swept under the rug, etc., etc., etc. So, like to Bone's point, what he was alluded to is society accepts a lot of shit and they turn a blind eye to a lot of things based on status and power, etc., etc., etc. We have a moral compass that we know is right and wrong. What you allow to go on around you is pretty much what you stand for. But as a whole society, a lot of stuff that people turn a blind eye to that just is not morally right. You know what I'm saying?
And I do want to say to y'all, What do you think?
I'm about to say also to Boone Point, right? Because I don't want my man to sound like he was saying something crazy. But I had somebody on the show before, and this conversation, I had the Democratic National Committee, whatever. And this kind of came up. And so there's this website called ageofconsent.com. This is where you get the sex trafficking thing from, right? Because say R. Kelly, right? Maybe in Chicago, the age of consent is 17.
Right.
But in Miami, the age of consent is 18, right? So he would like fly the brides to Chicago so he could fuck them legally.
That's what
right?
I'm saying.
Yeah,
So what
weird.
he's saying is the same thing I saying about politicians. Like, and to us, if we want to really change what's going on, we need to create legislation countrywide that say you can't fuck with these little girls until they of a certain age, right? But in some places, it is legal, you know, like in DC, Maryland, I think the age is 15 years old for age of consent. Right?
That goes back
That's
to Boone
crazy
Point.
work.
And that goes back to Boone's point. It's like I said, that also goes back to Boone's point of like trying to merge things or what have you. You got they just passed this. They just rolled back Roe versus Wade. They were very invested in that, but they aren't as invested in making something federally across the board saying, "Hey, 18 is the age of consent."
Mm-hmm.
It's like their priorities up.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
it's all relevant.
You remember that these laws
but
was created at a time when people didn't live but past what 50 or some shit like that
And they didn't respect human rights either. So
at all.
well, but here's the thing. When the song came out, when he put out Family Matters, right? All he did was take Mr. Morale, the album, and regurgitate what you heard Kendrick talking about on the album, right? Problems with his girlfriend, infidelity, cheating on him with white bitches, shit like that. When he put out that Not Like Us, dog, it was so many TikToks and people in LA, influencers, people that had stories about when they was younger, Drake messing with them. They had videos with Drake kissing underage girls on stage and telling other underage girls, you know, weird stuff in text messages. He talking sexually with a 15-year-old girl and all this other shit. And so there was enough evidence to kind of back up at least the like somebody said, you know, accusations and all that. It's a difference in this stuff.
All that
It's a
stuff was
difference.
out going to meat joint.
I feel like
And in a rap battle,
but come on, guys. I feel like it's always there if you want it to be there. Just like Bill Cosby.
it's a rap battle.
Just like
When they gonna cancel Elvis?
They been should have did that. Freaky nigga.
that's
That white
all
boy
to my
was
point.
his wife. You know what's crazy? They don't talk, but this really my issue. They got 15 Puffy documentaries. I don't see one Vince McMahon documentary yet. I don't see none of this shit. They got 15. The fall of Diddy. What happened with Diddy? Did he this? Did he do it? Did he not? Huh?
This got one, but
got one, but
to your point, it ain't the same. No, for sure, it ain't.
This joint started. They started recording before the charges, and then they stopped filming it. When the charges came out, he stopped filming.
He stopped filming.
They started that joint before all that shit came out, and then the shit came out, and then Vince was like the last 2 episodes, he was nowhere to be found. They said he wouldn't come, etc.
It got deep into the investigation.
The jump with like the puppet, it's like a puppet master cover. Yeah, that's my point though.
We definitely went real in on that Kendrick Lamar, man, to the point where it took over who's Sicing. We definitely appreciate Calvin Hawkins for coming in and stopping by. Now let's break down the latest in politics. So, bipartisan breakdown. The Gaza dilemma, man. Should the U.S. take control of post-war Gaza? Democratic divisions ceasefire versus continual military aid. I want to know the panel's opinion on the Democratic or USA's involvement in the Gaza crisis.
None of the sides are going to advocate what's right in this situation. What's right is that what we understand is that we have way more Palestinians impacted by this war versus the side of the Israelis. Way more Palestinians. I thought I saw something where it was like 1,300, Israelis have been killed, or it might have been a little bit more now, versus estimated 64,000 Palestinians. So we have more kids on the Palestinian side impacted or killed in the war versus all of the Israelis who lost their life. So I just think that holistically, we live in a colonizer type of society. I mean, at the end of the day, they want to colonize. This is nothing new. We have been here before. This has been their MO from the beginning. It was never about protecting Israel. It was never about that. It was about seizing and controlling land that does not belong to us. We see it time and time again. And this is history repeating itself, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we are prime and ripe for just total genocide of a people who unfortunately wanted to had the right to defend themselves. So I think it is desperately unfortunate from a country perspective, from just a humanitarian perspective, that we would even consider taking land and then creating the Ritz, what I'm saying? Creating, first of all, who is going to even want to feel, who would even in this lifetime feel safe with vacationing on the land that is a burial site for millions and hundreds of thousands of children. So I just think that it's unfortunate. Neither side wins. America loses time and time again where we engage in genocide and colonialism. So that's just my general thoughts on it.
I do think that that is a wild, difficult situation, but that's also a situation that's been going on since before Jesus, meaning like that land between two societies. I just think that we shouldn't be there, in my honest opinion, because at the end of the day, the only reason why the U.S. would be there is to gain some kind of natural resource or gain control of something, like you said, that ain't ours. And like you was talking about colonialism. But that's my only view on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know. But I just know that when it comes to religious wars, that there's about a land that has nothing to do with us.
Yeah. So it's tricky, right? Because I think the most effective tool they have utilized, right, is creating discernment, right? Creating really detachment from the issue, right? We don't really consider the fact that, the same method of policing that we see utilized over there is being taught to our police officers right here. So when we see our people get gunned down in the street or beat up with batons, it's a direct connection to this thing. We don't see that during Black Lives Matter rallies when the world was up in arms about everything from Trey Martin to Mike Brown, then George Floyd and Sandra Bland, and just all of these different egregious offenses. The Palestinians was right there with us, always been right there with us, right? And so there is no separation, especially when you're talking about a nation of Muslims, right? When you have a whole nation in America that is heavily impacted by watching every day the complete genocide of a Muslim nation and your brothers and sisters in faith, right? And watching their resilience. And I tell you exactly who will vacation there. White people. You think they give a fuck? They vacation here all the time. They go to Miami, all these places. You know what I mean? Bone. You know what's so crazy? When I'm on a cruise, I look in the ocean and they looking in the ocean. But I'm thinking about how many millions of my ancestors had to jump in this motherfucker to avoid rape or torture, to avoid a life in a whole nother land. They jumped off to their death, right? That's what I'm looking at when I'm crossing the Atlantic, right? And so we live, no matter how much we like to pretend that we are alike and we are the same and this and that, to some degree for sure. But there's some things in the DNA of both parties that just is completely different. And so when you talk about this type of situation, it's unfortunate, but you know what it is.
Trump latest move. Trump's tariffs, immigration policies, and lawsuit settlement. They blocked the executive order to end birthright citizenship. He also turned the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. He also threatened if Gaza don't release the hostages that by Saturday that they will face consequences. I want to know what you guys feel about Trump's latest moves.
Man, he don't give a fuck about Gaza. Let me just put that out. I should have said that the last question, man. He don't give a fuck about them people over there. He is heavily in bed. I won't say pause. He heavily in bed with the Israelis. Been in bed. His largest, and this is all stuff you can Google, whoever watching this, if you're watching it. His largest campaign donor, all of these people, they all in Israel. It's all connected to the Israelis. So he's super connected to it. The first day in office when they asked him about this shit, he said, you know, this ain't really our problem. We shouldn't be over there. He already rescinded funding for military aid in overseas conflicts and shit like that. So he's already taken away. It don't matter what happens in the future. He's already put things in place to take away the support. And on top of that, Israel has not been honoring the ceasefire. You could go, like I said, you could Google, YouTube, all over. They got plenty of videos where, you know, the soldiers are shooting at kids, shooting at women. Because, you know, people are returning to their homes thinking it's safe. And there's still people out there that is knocking them off. So they don't give a shit about that whole ceasefire. And so, like my man said, when these guys decide to stick up for themselves, when they decide to fight back, they call it terrorists. Look how they do it. When these guys, they are Hamas, it's so crazy. You look at CNN, MSNBC, they all liable. They all liable. You got to hold them all guilty for it because y'all pushing this narrative like it's the Israeli people against this terrorist group, as if, like somebody said earlier, as if it's not so disproportionate. You're talking about 70,000 plus, 70% women and children. You talking about the Palestinians have been getting slaughtered since day one and shit. And then not to mention, this stuff goes back, you know, to the 1930s and 40s and 50s and way before that, really, if you know your history. And so this shit it is what it is. But it's just an unfortunate situation, again, like I said. But, you know, Trump with the tariffs, you see these other countries are not backing down. They sitting in, you know, France or Canada or whoever. They ready. A lot of these people are ready for Trump's bullshit, Mexico, but they ready to negotiate. And Trump's a good businessman. He's not a good businessman, but because he has the narrative of being a good businessman, people will play ball with him. He throw the tariff thing up there. They make their counter action. And then he ready to negotiate and get really what he want in there. And so it'll work out somehow or another. I just think people need to get their ducks in a row and get their money together and find a way to start enterprise and entrepreneurship mentality for themselves, because you're going to need it bad.
I think that Trump is the biggest gangster we've seen in our time. And I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, bro. But if they're allowing him to do what he's doing, what can we do? But at the end of the day, I don't know if it's a bigger plan or bigger picture that we ain't seeing yet. I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know. But at the end of the day, they're allowing him to do whatever he's doing. And it's exposing a lot as well as it's destroying a lot. And I think that my views on things are different from others when it comes especially to what Trump's doing. Meaning, he have a situation where the last time he was in office that when the soldiers was overseas, I think there was in the Middle East somewhere, he sat down with one of the leaders and told him, if you shoot one of my soldiers, I'm going to blow up your entire family. And then there was not one single American soldier was shot. You know what I'm saying? Or like, he has his ways, and they're not the ways that we're used to, because we're used to people that were embedded into that role. Meaning like people like Bush or Obama, or whoever, they had they went through the ranks to get there. Versus him, meaning he's just a regular white guy in America that's doing what American quote unquote do, and he's using the system for his own benefit, as if the others haven't been doing it for years and centuries. But like I say, my views on it is different. But the nigga brought back plastic straws, so.
He's doing things people didn't ask for, in the campaign trail. He look at the price of eggs, man. My wife today was just, saying like, bro, I can only get 2 cartons of eggs, and the 2 cartons of eggs that I got, man, cost an arm and a leg. And then on top of that, you have the bird flu, so you don't even want to eat the egg that is coming from out of our grocery stores. I like what the brother said, man. It's just time for us to look after our own communities, look after our own small businesses, invest in our own small businesses. If you have a small farmers market in your area, make sure you invest in the small farmers market. So in homesteading, all this stuff, knowing how to grow our own food and resources, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump will never, ever, ever. He is a lover of money, and from a biblical perspective, not money, because money is energy, and money can be used for good. But unfortunately, he's a lover of money, and that translates into being the root of all evil. And I consider this man to be the root of all evil. He will do whatever he has to do. He will renege on whoever he needs to renege on. He doesn't care about your mama, your grandmother, your kids, you're disabled. He doesn't care about the veteran. He doesn't care about anything outside of, is it going to make him richer? And so I think a lot of what we are seeing Donald Trump do is smokes and mirrors for the real agenda, which is to overthrow government so that he can become filthy, filthy, filthy rich. You know what I mean? And so that's his agenda. And I think somebody might have mentioned it I think we mentioned it early on the call. We got to come with our own agenda. If we do not have our own agenda, if we do not educate our own people, stop relying on the system to educate our own people, because the system was never designed for us in the first place. If we don't take this thing serious, man, you know what I'm saying, we perish for the lack of knowledge. We perish for the lack of information. We spend so much time invested our time and our energy in the wrong thing, that we're not paying attention to the things that's really happening behind the scenes. The executive order, he'll go with something in 1 second, and then the next second, oh, it's not popular, oh, it's tanking in the market, whatever he's suggesting, and so he does something else. So it's never about the policy. It's never about making any sort of substantial change. It's about what is going to happen with his bank account. You have this man out here, uh, 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 having his own coins and his own sneakers and this, that, and the third, off of the backs of the presidency, off of the office. He is making money. And so I think that we have to not give him and all of his rhetoric any attention, and just focus on what we as a Black community can do for ourselves. We need to be planning. We need to be strategizing. We need to stop putting all our information on social media, and really get into a war room and think about what we are going to do, come up with the solutions to move our community forward. So, I mean, I just think that all of his stuff is just fluff. It's unfortunate that there are innocent bystanders in some of the harmful policies that he put forth. But at the end of the day, we just got to stop feeding into it. We got to stop giving it any attention.
Do you believe that integration was the best thing for Blacks?
No. Integration, in my opinion, was not and I think retrospective, like, again, going back to the education system, we were told, we sat in our schools, in our classrooms, and we were told that Christopher Columbus founded America, and that we were once slaves and now we are free. The truth is, man, we are still slaves to the mentality, we're still slaves to the system. And at the end of the day, we should have always had our own. I think that we did the best we could. We wanted to have progress, and at the onset, we thought that was the best move to make, was to integrate. But now, looking back, personally, I feel like we should have never integrated. We should have always stayed separate. We should have always invested, because again, we're feeding into a larger system. This is why I say we need to figure out how start growing our own food, homesteading, investing in our own schools. Black-owned schools, because that's the only path forward. Nobody else is coming out here, coming to save us. We have to save ourselves.
Did you had a lead point with that, Blue, or you was satisfactory with that
No,
knowledge,
no,
brother
no,
Randy
no, no.
just kicked?
I was just asking because, like, when people talk about today's society and how we need to come together, I don't think that we should have ever separated. I don't think that we did really separate. I think that we're still together. It's just that there's so many other people in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've been there. We've all been here. But it's just that we keep adding new friends.
Did we come over on a boat or was we already here?
Inviting everybody to the
Yeah, we was
cookout.
already here.
Inviting everybody to the damn cookout.
Right. And then they want you
But
to watch
is that not a great question to ask, fellas? Because I want all y'all to answer that question.
What's that?
Did we come over here on a boat or was we already here?
Oh, I got conspiracy theories on that one.
I know. I feel like we all have different lineage. You know what I'm saying?
I think we've
Everybody
already
has different lineage. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, come from different backgrounds. I just want to understand where everybody come from with, you know, their quote unquote blackness is. I always ask that question.
My honest opinion is,
do you feel like you came over here on a boat or do you feel like you was already here?
I think that they were already here and they preached the message that we came on a boat. The reason why I say that is because how can you say that they shipped over hundreds of thousands of people? Where's the ships?
This your talk, Sharice. I just asked them, did we come over here in a boat or was we already here?
I think some came on a boat.
Hold on, yeah. Hold on. Boom, you been, that's irresponsible shit.
No, I said I think some came on a boat. I'm not going to say hundreds of thousands came on a boat. I'm not going to say that.
You're right. You're right. Millions. You're right.
I'm not going to say that. Because if that was the case, there would be hundreds of thousands of ships.
Show me the ship. Prove it.
I'm just talking facts.
Oh, here we go. Oh shit. I guess we here. I guess we here now.
I'm only speaking facts.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I think it's both. I think we came over here on the boat and we were already here. Like, I don't think it's like where we already here or did we come on a boat. I think we came from the boat and then some folk were already here.
Right.
And, I mean,
Randy,
that's just fact.
What folk do you identify with?
Well, according to my lineage, I mean, and from what I'm hearing, you know, the conversation and storytelling from my grandmama and my great grandmama and so on and so forth, was that we came over on a boat. I don't know what everybody else, at least, you know.
How about you, Floyd? And then Boone, and then
what's your question?
Yourself, speaking for yourself based off the research you feel like you did with your own lineage and your own, you know, family tree background. Do you feel like what side do you come from?
I'm a mutt. I got all sorts of different races. Everything from Nigerian to Irish. Guess who was doing the Irish? You know, that's the people that was doing the slave trade that y'all think never happened, right? The European, the English. You know why I got English? As black as I am, you know why I got English in my DNA? It's not because my daddy was white. It's because somebody bent my great grandmother over and fucked her, right? This is the truth. Right? This is the reality of it. And I've been to Africa, West Africa. I've been to Gorée Island. I've been to the places where the actual boats went. So I seen the wreckage from slave ships. When you asking, where the slave ships? Right? I know about Catilda, right? The last known slave ship that they found in Alabama. Right? This is factual shit. Right? And so when we talking about a situation where this thing was an enterprise that happened over the course of hundreds of years, right? We only been free 125 years, something like that, right? In this country, right? And so we seeing upward mobility that no other group of people in civilization have ever had, right? We don't have like our own country of African America, right? It's just we're 12% in the place that we would call our home. We're 12% of the population, if that, right? Right? This is 12%. So I think we're doing much better than most people give us credit for. I think for sure there are things that have been set in place. Yeah, we could have said we wouldn't integrate. Maybe you heard about all these different places where black people was setting up their own communities and they bombed them and burnt them and killed them and hung them by their nuts and drug them by their neck on the back of cars. Like, I don't know if y'all just thought that, oh man, them black people doing real good over there. Let's let them be. That wasn't the reality. So a lot of these people was
not to cut you off, brother. Those are years after. So before we go to Boom, I want to just make sure the people can understand what side they feel like you identify. You feel like you and your heritage and your family was already here, or you feel like y'all came over on the boat?
But this what I'm trying to tell you. Like when we talking about Mansa Musa and them left West Africa, years before we talking about the slave trade, right? So of course, you got Africans that was in America before the slave trade. That's a fact. That ain't no secret. This where you get all the Mexicans and all this. This is where you get all this shit from.
What you got, Boom? You muted, Brody.
I think you misinterpreted what I was saying. I was saying that yes, ships did come. I'm talking about by the millions. No, that's what I was saying. But like I said, we were already here. But at the end of the day, like you were saying, what was the question again?
Based off your heritage and your
Oh, my
family
heritage.
background and your lineage, do you feel like you was already here, or do you feel like your family came over here on a boat?
Yeah. All I know about my family is I didn't do the history and whatever the history thing is. I haven't done that. But what I do know is I know that my family was a slave in they were on a plantation in Calvert County by the Butlers. And when Master Butler died, he gave all of his slaves pieces of his land, and my grandparents own it still to this day. So I just know how to go back to where the original slave people that owned my family. Outside of that, I'm from right here. That's how I look at it. Because I don't believe in pissing on a stick or some shit and then sending it in the mail and they told me I'm part Indian, part. I don't believe in that. I'm from right here.
You feel the same way about the African ancestry DNA? Because
Yeah.
I was there as far as the regular, but the African ancestry, I think it does help people a bit more. I don't trust the other ones, but the African ancestry, I feel like it will help us connect back to our roots because we're out here in the limbo. I feel like we are missing a big piece. Every other culture knows exactly where they've come from. We're the only culture that are guessing where we actually come from. And I think that science sometimes use not in a way that's malicious, but in a way that is benefiting or could benefit our community, might be advantageous for us to connect back to our lineage,
But
which
you
is
got to remember,
important.
we were,
Before y'all do your thing, let Sharice cook.
oh,
Peace and love, everybody. Yeah, so you already know where I stand. Black Americans are true to the land. Black Americans did not come from Africa, and that's just plain and simple what it is. What we find is that we have a distortion of our history that is not being told to the people, right? So this idea that we were on the bottom of a ship, chained together, shit and feces everywhere. Fuck no, you cannot survive nothing like that. Is like almost humanly impossible to survive such a treacherous voyage for 3 months at the bottom of the boat. I don't know who's going to survive something in that type of condition. So let's start there. And then secondly, like this idea that we don't have a history, don't have culture, all that is a lie. Our culture is rooted right here in America that we developed, cultivated, and built ourselves. We built this nation from the ground up. That's number two. And number three, I just think that they have had a rough time proving this thing to be true. When I've researched this so much and I still research it now, it's like there was more Africans brought to America in the 1900s, 1990s, 1992 than the entire slave trade era. They cannot truly pinpoint us back to Africa. Spit in the tube is not going to do it. Spit in the tube is not going to do it. Like I tell everyone, find me an authentic African ancestor in your line. Because one thing about it, no matter what you've been through, you're not going to lose an African dialect. You're not going to lose an African culture just because you were brought over somewhere. That doesn't just go away. They can't just beat that out of you. That is like diabolical. Period. So it's like I think
Okay.
that it's because they told us this, right? They told us this is our history. They told us this for so long that this is something we've adopted, and this is something that we believe to be true about who we are. When I have legitimate ancestors who are Indians, if you will, or just indigenous. I don't even like to say Indian. I just say we are indigenous to the land because I know when we have this idea about Native Americans, the $5 Indians up there, that's why Trump is on them now because they are not true to this land, period. The only ones that is true to this land is these people on this stage and our ancestors, period. So, that's why I don't believe the slave trade myth. Now, did people come to America? Absolutely. Did people travel from places to come here to get a better life? Absolutely. The idea that just us, oh, y'all are from there? No, that is cap. They need to prove it, and they have yet to do that. That's why we don't have a reparation situation. None of that stuff is happening. And we can even go as far back in slavery as y'all want to say it. A lot of our ancestors owned these folks. White people were the first slaves in America. So it's just a lot of things that we don't know and we don't understand, but they've predicated our history on this to cover up their type of history that they don't want to expose. And that's the truth. So yeah, I think the slave boat thing, that shit's got, they got every last statue you could think of up in this country, but they don't have not one slave boat. The Clotilda they talking about is 2020, but all they shown y'all was like wreckage of wood. Like, come on now, who said that that's a ship down there? They just telling y'all anything because they want to connect this, because they know a lot of us are finding out the truth about our lineage and our heritage, and that it's not 100% this slave trade story that they're predicating on us. So that's just, I can really talk about this all day because I really go into this. I actually do the research, like from the people who actually built the slave trade voyage website and all of this stuff. They don't even talk about the slave trade that happened within the United States. They don't talk about people being shipped from Virginia to Tennessee, from South Carolina to Virginia. They don't talk about none of that. But all of that is very true. So y'all, it just takes a lot of discernment to really unpack it and truly understand it. I just think it takes time for people to come into it on their own. And that's just what it is, y'all. Hell no. We are the boat story.
Okay. So a couple things I just want to rebut, right? If I will, if you can. You're right. To think that our story starts at slavery would be wrong. Slavery, the Middle Passage in America, right, started somewhere around 1525, right? And so if we're to look at the Africans that left West Africa to come to America with Mansa Musa, that was around 1357, right? So about 200 years before slavery would have started here. So to Boone point, the Africans that were already in America would have been here for about roughly 100 years, right? With the so-called Indians, right? In America already before the Europeans left England, right? Like you said, they were slaves and throwaways. You're right. So they came over here, right? So all of that's correct, right? Problem is, to your point, about 2 million people per year died on those boats, right? Estimated, right? And they based that off the logs of the people that was coming on the boats in Africa, right? Because this is cargo, right? You sold drugs before, well, I don't know if you did, I did. I knew how much dope I had in the bags, right? I might got 15 in this bag, 15 in that bag, right? So if I get to DC and it's 2 bags, it's not 2 in here, hold on, I know where I got, right? So the numbers is off. And so it wasn't that they was keeping documentation 400 years ago so they can lie to black people one day when they was free. They was keeping documentation because we was 3/5 of a human being. We was cattle. We was property to them. Hold on. Let me. I just let you do your thing. So when we talking about the wreckage and all of this stuff, it wasn't preserved because. And by the way, they wouldn't have the boats and stuff like that somewhere highlighted because this was an industry that they lost in.
So
This was a $1 billion industry that they had to sacrifice because they lost. So they wouldn't be celebrating those ships. And by the way, which one of us would let that ship sit there?
But you just
nobody will let that ship just sit there, huh?
But you just contradicted yourself.
Life of contradiction. Tell me how.
This is what I'm saying. So you're telling me, right? If you had 30 bags on the way to you in a container, and that container showed up to you, and you looked in that container and you only seen 2 bags out of the 15 you had coming, right?
Yeah.
You still have the container.
Yeah.
Where's the container?
Maybe. That's not true. And to your point, right? And because I'm not lying about this, I used to have a room full of suitcases, right? I could pour somebody up on the show, Trey. They'd tell you I had a room full of suitcases because every time you know how it go. You on the road, you going up there, you dropping off, you picking up, you bringing back, or somebody coming bringing it down to you. The suitcases, you take whatever's out, you throw them in the closet somewhere. Hey, somebody need a suitcase? Here, I got a suitcase for you. Here, take this. I was like 4 meals at one.
But you still have the suitcase.
Suitcases away.
But you still
No, I
have
don't have. I don't have none of them suitcases. I wish I did.
But this is what I'm saying. That you still have. You can still get. So what I'm saying is, what we're saying is,
I can't get them.
the ship story we don't believe. That's what we're saying. The ship story.
You think we walked over here?
No. What she's saying is that we were already here. Some ships did come out, but not by the millions like they're saying.
Okay. What if they use the same ship a bunch of times?
You're talking about the 50. Can I real quick?
Nah, bro.
I'm just saying.
Nah, bro.
Niggas came to the new land, dropped niggas off, double back, came back up.
Nah, not like that. Not like that.
It's an Uber, nigga. It's an Uber.
Nah, bro. They said it was
outside
thousands by the thousands. No, bro.
No.
Outside of slave
ship,
this is the question. Outside of slave ship, what ships still exist from that era? Period. Like what ships? Now I know that there are steamboats and everything else that are out there that were built with different sets of material, but I guess that was like what ships exist? Not just slave ships, but just ships in general. Ships,
they
cargo
exist.
ships.
They still exist. We just said we don't have access.
A slave ship exists?
Hell yeah. You telling me that ain't no white man owning some wild shit like that? That shit exists somewhere in this earth.
Maybe so. But let me ask you a question. You ever been on a cruise?
Nope.
You think every time they do a cruise, it's a brand new ship to take niggas to the Bahamas? It's the same fucking ship.
No, you're talking about.
Nah, bro. Yeah, that's a disingenuous argument, bro.
You're talking about the Atlantic Ocean, bro.
Crazy.
Back and forth.
The Atlantic Ocean, bro. Not down the street. You're not talking about
that ship go back and forth.
No, bro.
He comparing the Amistad to Carnival.
One of the most dangerous oceans.
No, bro. The Atlantic Ocean, my nigga.
Yes.
No, dog. The Atlantic Ocean is not the same as going to the Bahamas from Florida. That's not the same. And you're talking about with no engine. With no engine.
But watch this. When you're talking about the middle, when we talk about the Middle Passage, you know who has the largest population of black people on Earth? Brazil. And that's a lot closer to Africa than America is. And they say about 4.7 or 4.8 million Africans were taken to Brazil during the Middle Passage. And then they go to the Caribbean, where about 4.5 was dropped off. Then they go to England, and then they come to us in America, which is probably why we had the lowest amount of Africans dropped off in our country, which is probably why, compared to Brazil and Jamaica and Haiti and all these places, we have the lowest population of black people.
You want to know who the smartest race in America is?
Oh, shit.
Who?
You want to know who the smartest race in America is right now?
Asians.
Mexicans. Bruh, slavery was going on this whole time. They stayed across the street. They was like, it ain't safe yet.
Yeah.
Mexican, Spanish, I don't know.
They stayed across the street.
Because it was a lot of different wars, bro. So I don't know.
If they had their own wars.
Shit, nigga, everybody had a war in America, brother. Irish.
Yeah.
White women.
Gulf of America, nigga.
That was a crazy take. That was
Gulf of America.
Y'all definitely got heated. We gonna go to the Sice report, man, so we can So Kanye West, man, got banned from Shopify selling his merch, got banned from X, formerly known as Twitter. We want to know on the Sice room, man, is we Sicing or is freedom of speech at jeopardy?
Man, I think we're giving, Kanye a platform, and again, going back to my comments of as far as energy, we're giving him way too much of our energy, our precious energy that should be spent towards organizing, figuring out how we're going to protect our community. Whatever Kanye has going on, I think that it is just a cry for attention, a cry for help. To be honest with you, I think he is, in certain respects, is a brilliant human being. In other respects, he's a troubled person, man. And I think we have to stop giving him the same thing with Donald Trump, man. We have to stop giving him the attention because he's craving off of the attention. As far as free speech, free speech is never free. It always comes at a cost. The thing about speech is that speech carries energy. Energy is valuable. Energy is precious. Why do we think that Donald Trump is in office now? Because he's used the power of his words. And what I am hoping that we do as a people is that we are mindful over our words, and that we're choosing our words, and that we are speaking in a way that produces light, love, healing, and justice for the people who need to experience it. So I don't really have a dog in the fight. I don't really acknowledge, Kanye. I think it's unfortunate that he's using his platform to other things outside of, the embetterment of the Black community. But free speech is it's a joke. It's a joke. They would censor you in a heartbeat. It depends on who is giving the speech. But we just have to make sure that we're using our words and the things that we speak over each other in a way that's gratifying. So I just think it's just a cliche, just something to say free speech, but it's not free.
Yeah, so Kanye, he's been interesting these last 4 or 5 years for sure. I could say that he's obviously like an important figure in our culture, but I will say that, I think that the things that he's been through kind of overshadow, and he just turns around and he kind of reacts versus really thinking about the things that he do. And I just wish that he would put more thought into whatever it is that's going on. I just feel like he's kind of trolling and he's just looking for some type of attention, like the other gentleman said. As far as free speech, there is none. I think that, as soon as you say something that ruffles the feathers of the upper powers and things like that, yeah, they're going to censor you. They're going to take it down. Like, even when I visited Canada, it was the same. You cannot type like certain things and put it on Facebook. They will stop you. Like, I don't think that you have freedom of speech at all. Like, no, not at all. There is a thing called censorship, and it's happening every day. And they use the internet to censor you. Like, you can't really speak. You can't really speak up. So, as far as Kanye's goes, I don't think he's going to change. He's going to be exactly who he is. And, we just have to choose, like he said, whether or not we're going to give that any type of attention or energy as far as that is concerned. And like I said about free speech, we're definitely being more censored these days than I think ever before. So
so I don't follow Kanye, but in the sense of freedom of speech, I don't think that we really do have a freedom of speech unless it's in alignment to what is massively popularized and a part of our mass agenda. So I just think that yeah, he does. We don't really have a freedom of speech. He's kind of derailing into his own realm of what he wants to say, and his freedom of speech is turning into expression, and that's not what the freedom of speech we're granted is for. Apparently, it's not for expression. So, yeah, that's my view on it.
I don't know. I think when you talk about freedom of speech and all that, you got freedom of speech. These are businesses. At the end of the day, we don't look at it like that. But these apps we use, and they're businesses, publicly traded businesses, and so they got the right to say we don't want you on here saying X, Y, and Z, and you got the right to go somewhere else to say it. You can sit in your living room and say it. That's not the issue, because people don't care about freedom of speech necessarily compared to what they have to say being exposed to as many people as possible. So if you want to just say it, you can say it. Nobody's stopping you from saying it. You can sit in your living room. You can say it while you're taking a shit. Nobody cares. Say what you gotta say. But you want people to hear it, and you want people to see it, and you want people to respond to it, and you want people to engage with it. And so that's a different thing, because you got to use somebody else's platform to do it. As long as Kanye was talking shit about Drake or any other guy, it's fine. As soon as Kanye say something about the Jews or this or that, all of a sudden it's a problem. So it's selective. It's selective beef and so-called. Like when they got an issue with you, it's usually not when you saying something. You can make 100 songs. We sing Lil Durk, NBA YoungBoy, all these rappers. They make 1,000,000 songs about killing each other. I killed him. I shot him. I did this. I did that. I paid for the hit. They give you a platinum plaque. They give you a YouTube plaque. All of this shit. They put you on world tour to talk about killing a nigga look like you. But you say that, man, the Jews run this music industry and they perpetuating this. They paying for this. All of a sudden, you anti-Semitic. How can a black man be anti-Semitic? Question number one. Number two, why every time, man, you telling me Elon Musk could do the Nazi symbol and Heil Hitler and all this shit at a presidential inauguration, and it's okay? The fucking head of the Jewish, my bad, I don't know the name of the organization off the top of my head, but they put out a whole email, a whole letter basically saying, nah, Elon didn't mean it like that. Damn, y'all, the nigga doing this at the joint, y'all taking up for him? But Kanye say something about how one culture of people or one group of people that just so happened. And I tell you what, go Google all of the record labels, Google every rapper you know, find out what record label they with, and then go down the rabbit hole and figure out who runs that record label and where they from and who else came from the places they from. Go do the research. Kanye not saying nothing that's a lie in that regard. And then wonder why you look at YouTube. Now, how come I could come on YouTube, make a bunch of videos talking about how I killed you and your man, and that's okay? Well, who's running YouTube and who getting paid off of me getting millions of views talking about killing another nigga that looks just like me, knowing that in every city around the country, this same outlet is being used to push violent videos where people on both sides are getting killed and murdered of young ages, all across Philly, DC, Miami, Atlanta, LA, New York, Midwest, Detroit, Chicago. It's happening everywhere. Nobody says nothing about it. And go find out who went making the money off of this shit. It ain't hard to tell, but as soon as he started talking, it's an issue. I don't agree with everything Kanye say. He say a lot of dumb shit. But sometimes part of his so-called strategy is to get your attention with all the dumb shit so I can tell you some real shit. And, like you say, man, how much energy can you put to it? If it's for you, listen to it. If it's not, keep it moving. Because like you said earlier, we can't be idolizing motherfuckers, man. We got to, when you put out a song, if I like it, I'm going to jam to it. If I don't, I'm going to turn the channel. That's all. If you say something I respect, that I agree with, cool. If I don't, I'm on to the next. I got my own opinion. You want your freedom of speech, create your own platforms where you can say what the fuck you want to say.
Peace and love, Enoch. Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Shout out to everybody over there in American Indian Paradigm. We still banging on this information. We let the people know we true to this lane. So shout out to Enoch. Thank you.
For sure. All right, boom.
Think Kanye is dope. That's all I can say about him, bro. He's doing what he wants to do, saying what he wants to say. I mean, we know freedom of speech ain't real freedom of speech. We know that because we know what. That's how we created our own code so that we can talk in our way of freedom of speech. So that way we know what we're saying without them knowing what we're talking about. So at the end of the day, freedom of speech is only what they allow us to say. But when it comes to like the Jewish media and things like that, I know I'm about to sound crazy, but if you go into the history of Hitler, he talks about everything that we're talking about right now. So, Mike, come on, bro, not right now. So, what I'm saying is, when he was talking about when he was a kid growing up, all he saw was newspapers, radio outlets, everything that he had that was coming to him was being filtered through Jewish, meaning like what is the real story of what is really going on, and he wanted to know the truth of what was going on versus what another set of people was telling him that was going on. And I'm not saying that's how it all started, but that's like the origin of how he built the hatred for Jews. But like we were just talking about the owning of the media outlet and who's putting out what, you know what I'm saying? And that's it. I guess that's all I can say. But Kanye's dope. If I could walk around with my girl outside naked, and if I had the choice to, you think I wouldn't?
You do got the choice too. Do that shit.
She ain't
Now,
gonna.
I feel like Floyd and Boone gave Kanye way more grace than the panel did. And I would like to, as y'all know, I have to give pushback as the moderator so you guys can allude into the conversation. Now, granted, most recently, Kanye has been showing what a lot of people would identify as mental health issues, right? Based off the sporadic nature of how he's communicating, which granted, a lot of people communicate like that over social media. I really don't think he's doing nothing outside of the norm, right? But a lot of people discredit him at recent times, but they don't credit him for Taylor Swift. They don't credit him for George Bush don't care about black people. They don't credit him for being a fashion entrepreneur, a music entrepreneur. They don't credit him for being a billionaire. They don't credit him for the soul sampling he did. They don't credit him for the fashion he did, as far as being one of the first popular artists that we know of, right, guys, that wasn't a gangster street artist. I feel like what people feel like Kendrick is doing nowadays, I feel like Kanye already done that. And he don't get a lot of credit for things that he already laid the blueprint for, which I don't think personally gives him a pass for the things he's doing nowadays. But I have to bring up these things to give you guys pushback for when you guys say, I don't pay attention to him. I don't respect him. I just move past him. I kind of feel like that's unbelievable. Or if you are making a concerted effort to do that, I kind of feel like it's disingenuous, because Kanye has done things in history that no other artist has done, political figure has done, person from black culture even had the position to risk their well-being to even do. And do we, as a black culture, should we give him credit for those things?
I think you can respect the art and not the artist. I think that, as far as his art is genius. I think he has a genius type of mind. Like, his mind is brilliant as far as the art is concerned, as far as his what he has contributed to the art. But as far as just the basics of his thoughts when it comes to uh protecting the people, protecting his people, as far as his thoughts and things of that nature, I feel like I don't quite align with, and I feel like he's off base, especially or out of touch, especially in the climate that we're living in today. So his art is beautiful. To be honest, I feel the same way, and people always say that I feel the same way about Cosby. I love the Cosby Show, but I respect the Bill Cosby for his art. But
Stop. Stop.
as far as I respect the art, but as far as who he is as a person, I don't align with it. And I think that those things can both exist at the same time, where I respect your craft, but not the person.
Not to cut you off, but just to give you a small pushback. Do you feel like George Bush don't care about black people? Do you feel like Taylor Swift, the representation for Taylor Swift, Beyonce over Taylor Swift? Do you feel like fashion and the entrepreneurship and the advocacy of ownership of music and fashion? Do you think that's artistry, or do you think that's outside of artistry? And are those things respectable?
It's all art and it's all respectable. It's all art and it's all respect. But hold on, Trey. We can't skim past that. We can't skim past that. We talking about Cosby, who done raped about 45, 55 bitches.
No, he
Excuse
didn't.
my language, y'all.
No, he didn't.
Okay, wait, hold on, boom. And I purposely said bitches so I can lure you in, nigga. Then I got you. Right? So if he didn't rape 55, tell me the appropriate number of people that he raped that's okay with you.
0.
Because if it wasn't 55, what number was it? How many was it that's okay with you?
0.
Well, we know that's not the answer.
0.
You know why he got out of jail?
0. You know the reason
why he got out of jail?
You know the reason why he was
No,
in
do
jail?
you know why he got out of jail? Oh, now I can't. Now I feel bad, nigga. Come on now.
Nah, he can hear you. Tell him. He can hear you.
Damn, I can't go at the nigga. We're talking about Bill Cosby with little baby boy in the. Oh, so look, he threw my whole little. Look, the reason Bill even got out of jail was because the way they locked him up, the way they prosecuted him, was a recording that they said would never come out, where he admitted that he was using drugs, giving women drugs, and then having sex with them after. He admitted this in a deposition, and and the only reason he admitted it, it was part of the plea deal, right? If you admit it on tape, then you won't go to jail. And the reason why he got released from jail wasn't because he was innocent. It was because the judge found that they used this tape illegally and they should have never played it in court. He admitted to doing this shit.
Do you know about his house that he
This
owned?
a fact. Little man, no, he did this.
All right, man, let me get him to bed, bro.
Randy, we cannot compare Bill Cosby to this nigga. That's just crazy. Kanye, I just think Kanye is acting out because Kanye been wanting to smack Drake around for forever. And now Kendrick was the one who was able to do it. And Kanye be like caught between giving Kendrick a compliment and then being like, nigga, I'm the biggest Gemini ever. And da, 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 da. So he caught in between that, but he just want a little attention too. That's it. Kanye just want a little love too. And he's an artist. We shouldn't be so concerned with the thoughts of an artist and what he's doing and what he's thinking. And we don't give a fuck about, like, we don't know. I don't know if Prince was sucking dick or fucking vagina. I don't know what he was doing, or both at the same time. I don't know. He's talking about Raspberry Beret. I don't know what Prince was talking about, you know. Prince talking about, if I was your girl, what? This is Prince. So, you know, I mean,
well, you have to understand.
I want to be love you like your mother, love you like your brother, love you like your sister, all this shit. This is Prince with his ass out. So, you know, what can we say? Luther Vandross, a home is still a home, a chair is still a chair. He said everything, but a dick is still a dick because he didn't want you to know he was gay. Right?
Now, how far should we go idolizing people like Kendrick when Puffy, R. Kelly, Cosby, Michael Jackson, like they done took down everybody. So at what point
don't put Mike in there?
They tried to kill him too. Allegedly they did. So at what point do we stop idolizing these musicians and figure that they don't have the answers to everything?
We don't idolize none of them.
We don't. With Kendrick's performance, the main thing about Kendrick's performance was people was not idolizing the music. They was trying to idolize the message.
It's not about idolizing you, it's just respecting the message.
But
it's the same way. It's the same way when we on these podcasts with you and I'm saying, man, you use your platform to create this type of environment. We talking about some substantial shit. Right, that's powerful shit. You doing the same thing Kendrick doing. You have an opportunity with your platform, and then you could be on here saying a bunch of shit that you know gonna go viral on DMV Hoods and News. But instead, you're talking to the councilman about water plans and shit like that, and all this other type of shit. Right? You using your platform for the greater good, right? To push a message, and that's what people tilting their heads saying salute to you. It's because of that.
But what I would want to ask, right? Why I ask Black people all the time from our culture? It's not a gotcha question. It's just I be wanting to understand what people identify with, what's their what education they got. So because I'm always into learning, right? So when I always ask, do you feel like you was here already based off your lineage, or do you feel like you came over on the boat, right? And then I ask people also, do you love America? Do you feel like America is your home, and do you love America or do you not? Because when I look at performances like that, I'm a little confused on the message sometimes. Are we like, and I'm not asking for myself, I'm asking for the people, because a lot of these messages are a little convoluted And I don't know, especially with the children, it's very hard for them to understand if they are supposed to love America, or are they supposed to not love America? Are they supposed to feel like they was from here and they built this country? Or are they supposed to feel like they came over here in boats and they've been slaves forever? So when we look at performances like that, when we got Serena Williams doing Crip Walk, perpetuating gang violence as an athlete, when we got, it's just a fact. I'm just saying, it is what it is.
It's not.
We got Kendrick perpetuating that America and Squid Games are in cohesiveness of, like, we have no way out. We in a trap. There's no way out. This is not our home. I don't know. And then if this is not our home, I just be asking, what is our home? So when we have those type of messages, when people go against the president, I don't care if it's Biden or Trump, when people go against elected officials, when people go against the government, I have no issue with pushing back on the government, because we are the people. That's our job. We're supposed to be a bridge. We're supposed to do this thing together. But at some point, I have to ask what side. I want to know what side people are on so I can understand the message. The message didn't come off as America is ours and this is our home. It came off as this isn't our home.
But you missed it then, right? You missed the black skin. You missed the black skin underneath the red, white, and blue that formed the flag. You missed that part, right? You missed Sam Jackson telling them. No, the same thing, right? Beyonce could have went out there in a mini skirt. Instead, she went out there representing the Black Panthers. So you have an opportunity. Matter of fact, by the way, Super Bowl not paying them shit. This is what people be missing. You want me to come up there, Joan, and tap dance for you? They not paying me shit. This is my chance to do my thing. Now, when you see Usher go up there and hit, it's 7 o'clock on the dot. Well, Usher ain't had a hit song in 15 years, nigga. So I need to generate some more sales income, right? And that's not a bad thing. Kendrick had a certain message he wanted to prove. It's not about gang culture. Do you know what Crip mean? Community revolution and progress. Do you know what that was all about? Do you know the Crips was started by a bunch of guys that came from the Panther Revolution? This shit ain't about no fuck what the white man told you this was about.
Hey,
and
bro,
by the way,
we damn sure know what we damn sure know what shit started and what shit is two totally different things, bro.
I don't know that, because what I saw at the pop-out concert, is people that might have had a situation in their past put issues behind each other and stand in solidarity in front of the whole world watching, right? And so I know that this narrative would be pushed, but if we're going to do that, we can do that in every aspect of this American civilization. We learned this culture, that gangster shit, from them. We taught them civilization across the globe. You can look at when the Moors went over there in Europe. You can look at when the Moors introduced themselves in Asia. You can look at the influence that blacks have had every time we've entered a demographic location across the globe. We gave them culture everywhere. They the ones that gave us all that wild, wild west, shoot 'em up, gangster shit. We learned that from these crackers. We learned that from Goodfellas. We learned that from Godfather. We learned that from Scarface. So that's a fact.
I'm just saying, if I felt like you felt, would I still Crip walk on the Super Bowl stage?
Yes.
If I felt like I learned this from them, I'ma still do that.
Because we're not saying, I'm telling you, we're not saying the Crip walk came from some white man, right? We saying that the whole ideology of the gangsterism, right? We learned that from American culture. We learned that from this shit that we was taught. Wasn't no black people in them movies, right? And so when you start to think about Al Capone, all that shit, we talking about the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. Well, look at what blacks was doing in the 20s, 30s, and 40s compared to that. It's a totally different ideology, a totally different reality, right? We don't start to see that type of stuff into our communities until what? The late 60s, early 70s, 80s, right? Especially when they start to introduce drugs in the community, right? We know what happens as far as the CIA's involvement, FBI's involvement, and actually introducing these drugs inside the community, right, with government agents and all that type of shit, infiltrating Black Panther Party, infiltrating the SCLC, the NAACP. We know about all of this shit. We know about COINTELPRO. So we know that the FBI was actively infiltrating these organizations and creating divisiveness.
Why we support artists that uses the biggest stage to perpetuate beef, gang violence, And when you brought up Usher and saying Usher ain't have a hit in days, so he performed the hits that was catered to the fans,
Right?
Which we expect you to do on the biggest stage that you ever had when you're trying to entertain.
No, you got it all wrong.
Okay,
you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong. You got it all wrong. First of all, Usher got that opportunity off of entertaining, right? He got that opportunity because in Vegas, where that Super Bowl was held at the time, he had a residency as an entertainer, right? Right, totally different thing. Kendrick using his art form for revolutionary purposes. Usher has a residency at a hotel in Vegas, right? And so he's doing the songs that he wanted.
Not to cut you off, but before the performance,
go ahead.
You telling me the beef track was revolutionary purposes?
Yes.
I feel like it could have been put into context because I have mentioned I was disappointed with the diss track because of his level of understanding and then just understanding a big picture of things. Like, we really playing chess out here. We're not playing checkers on these mediocre little issues or even specific people. Like, even when I would listen to the song, I would tell people don't listen to it like it's just for Drake. That's for people like Drake and similar characteristics. If you don't rock with it, you don't rock with it across the board. Don't just say it because of quote unquote things with Drake. So it's just like, I feel like that should have been put into context with all of the things that you were saying. Those are very good points to be made. But it wasn't so much put into context in that way initially. And I feel like with his halftime, he did, I feel like in my eyes, I feel like he did a mild redemption because he did use that platform as an opportunity to drop some gems and those moments in his little interlog moments. But like overall, and the music going back, like you said, revolutionary work, like he was really doing that in his music prior to. I really do feel like with the tracks that came out, he kind of did derail from the big purpose of what he was going towards, his mission of his music and the messages. Like, he was never the one to drop names.
Pull up, drank, headshot, drank. You talking about fucking problem?
I'm not gonna lie.
I just want to. No, I'm telling you, like, it's mad songs like fucking problem.
So when you really have to break down his music, honestly. So when you break down the music, it's actually talking about those things being continued. I can't say that word right now. Being continued. Yes, that word within his environment. Like, that's what he was seeing, and he was just in his music. When you listen to it, it's kind of like I had learned about this theory about like how you can't just take one piece to like understand the whole masterpiece. So like when you listen to the whole music, the albums, it like creates a whole picture of what he's actually trying to get across. But like, it's always a message in what he's saying, and it's never directed towards a specific person. It's towards a specific trait, a specific issue, a specific and then he does reference like, people and his family and his friends and stuff, like he's talking about real life stuff in his music. Other than like what? What?
When he's saying shut up bitch, be humble, he's talking to Big Sean. He's not talking to the generation in general. He's telling Sean, using his ad libs, to shut up bitch and be humble. Right? This is a direct shot to Big Sean, because Big Sean was talking big shit out of the Control verse. This is, we are like rappers.
All his hit records, all his hit records and his hit verses is attacking other black men. That's what you're saying, Floyd? Are you saying all Kendrick's hit verses and hit records are attacking other black men?
We shoot in proximity. Here's the thing.
I'm not saying this right or wrong.
Hold on, wait. Like, when we talking about context, Shakespeare don't give you footnotes, nigga. You got to read Shakespeare a couple times. Me and my girlfriend, Tupac doesn't come at the end of the song and says, and just in case you didn't know, this song about my gun and this about my... No, nigga. Kendrick didn't come at the end of Gloria and say, oh, this song is just an analogy. No, that's what art is about. But also, by the way, as human beings, especially for me, I reserve the right to smoke weed and talk politics and pray. And if a nigga get into it with me, smack him if I gotta protect myself. I reserve the right to be a human being and be multifaceted. Kendrick nor nobody else never said, I'm this thing, worship me, and I'm only going to be like this. Martin Luther King was saying, let freedom ring, and fucking every night. Martin Luther King was getting his dick sucked with JFK and other bitches every night while his girl was back home, Coretta. You think I don't know that? I know that. I done studied with MLK top people. I know this shit. They got video. FBI J. Edgar Hoover was sending his wife audio tapes that they had hid in the hotel room of Martin Luther King fucking. This is a fact. We are multifaceted people. Kendrick Lamar come from an area that does have gang involvement. Maybe the world see it as a negative thing, but Serena, who got fined for crip walking that same dance when she won at Wimbledon, she got fined when she won at Wimbledon. She wasn't killing nobody. Her sister was killed in the middle of gang activity. She is celebrating her culture. She elevating it, and she taking whatever negative connotation and she twisting it around on his head, and she making it something beautiful, right? She paying tribute and homage. This thing that we do, when you look at the people back in Africa and all these other places, black people all over the world, we travel people. This is how we express ourselves. Look at what they call the Native Americans. This is how we've been. This is how we express ourselves. We travel motherfuckers. And so when you see them out there doing that shit, that's all that is. It's not nobody perpetuating no negative image. If they want to do that, then guess what? They would have had big timers out there. I told you, I was at the Cash Money reunion. It was a hell of a show. It was a hell of a show. It was amazing, but this was something bigger than that. And so, yeah, Kendrick could have went out there, did his hits, and not got none of the money. I mean, he got a little bit, but he went out there and chose to do something different, and we got to respect that. We got to respect that. I mean, everybody got their choice. Everybody got their choice. I mean, you know, you just got to respect each other. He didn't get paid $1 for it.
As far as we, who is we? Do we got to respect that? Do the people that came for entertainment got to respect that? Do the people that don't identify with what he's saying got to respect that?
Yes.
Are we all our opinion in this culture? Because we know we're not a monolith.
Everybody got their opinion, but the 134 million people that was watching, they was watching to see if he was going to do not like us. They wasn't watching to hear him do pour up drink, my nigga. Them 134 million people wasn't watching to see if he was going to do money trees or some shit like that. They wanted to see if he was going to look in the camera and say, "Hey, mine, nigga." They wanted to see if Kendrick was going to let his nut hang.
Is that a good thing? But is that a good thing?
Yeah, can I get
because when we talk about freedom of speech, he didn't have a whole lot of freedom of speech on that stage. So when we talk about Kanye on Twitter, where they letting people promote porn, and when we talk about the Super Bowl, where he can't even say bitch, where he can't even say minor, he didn't even say minor.
That's good.
How you accusing that man of this?
Use that platform to perform.
No, are you crazy? Are you crazy? If I say it now, that's something you can put in a little lawsuit. If I don't say it, and 20,000 people, dog, it doesn't matter. He did look on camera. He don't say pedophile. He don't accuse him of fucking with a minor. On camera, the crowd did. And unless you want to sue 134 million motherfuckers, you fuck.
He says in the song,
that was smart.
Better not have him around your little sister. What's the? Oh my God, I haven't heard it enough to quote the lyrics. He said, "Make sure you don't have him around your little sister."
You heard it.
He said, "You trying to strike." It. I know. I want to say it verbatim because I don't want to like cut him short. I want to give it like you know what I'm saying.
No, but you gotta say what
he said. You're trying to strike a chord, and it's probably he already set the premise up, and then he said you're trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a what? The chain with the A was a what?
The crowd did it. The crowd said it.
Floyd, the song was created before the crowd was ever created. Floyd, the song was created before the crowd was ever created. It don't matter. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Drake don't have a leg to stand on.
I'm just saying, is that positive personally? I'm just saying for our culture. We come from Biggie and Tupac. We come from Ja Rule and 50. We come from hip hop, King Von's. I mean, this shit is going on and on and on. is that
not that
popular? Is that that
we need a
healthy,
shift? We
y'all?
need a shift. Like I keep hearing this
Listen,
same
and this the
statement
shift.
of what's
You
been
gotta let us get in here,
continuing.
Troy. Hold up, let
We
us
need
go.
a
This the
shift.
shift.
We need a
This
shift.
is the shift.
And I was kind of pissed off
Listen.
that like with that
Let her
shift, he
cook,
didn't
Lord.
go in the way he, even if he wanted to do a
He
diss,
made
I
his
really
whole
feel like he
about
could have did a
Drake.
better job than what he did. Like,
Yeah, that
period.
Drake was mid.
Period,
Come on now,
period,
stop
period,
playing.
period, period. I think he could do better
mid.
because of what he knows and his understanding, the way that he likes to say that he understands. I really feel like he could have took a better stance. We really do need to make a shift. I feel like it's joining into what's kind of already out with a little elevated twist. And I feel like we need more. That's all I'm saying. We need more. We need
Boy,
more.
in that age
And I
where
expect
all our
more.
stars
That's
are
it.
getting locked up for pedophilia and rape, the hit song in our culture that we want to push
That don't need to be
is
said.
a black man,
Energy.
alleging that another black man is a pedophile.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Yes.
Screaming
but
energy.
the context
Screaming that
ain't
is
proper.
not what we need to be
The
doing.
context ain't proper, bro. In my opinion, the context is
it
not
is.
proper
That's
for us to
It
grow.
is.
For us to grow.
It is.
Come on now.
Kids
okay, you just said something right.
Our culture and our artists and our people, and he used that platform for that, and like that is not cute to me in any way, shape, or capacity. He had plenty of songs that he could have performed.
Y'all crazy as shit.
Songs that he could have performed that he did not have to perpetuate. He made his moment about Drake, and that's stupid to me.
That's
stupid to me. Come on.
What's your
now.
name,
Like,
Sharice?
That's my name.
Your name's Sharice? So
That's
look,
my
right, Sharice? You got to go watch. Now, I hear you. You real smart. You got to go watch it again. Like, so he don't really even touch on Drake shit, pause, until midway to the end. The rest of that shit was more or less directed towards Trump, towards America, right? And so by the time you get to the Drake shit, here's the thing. Trey said something that was tight, and I gotta salute my hat because you just said something that made me think of it. He said, for us to grow. Now, a lot of times when we talking about weeds, right, in a yard, sometimes the grass won't grow if it's too many weeds. So sometimes you gotta do what? Cut the weeds. Now, the nigga like Drake, who the system has pushed up to #1, meanwhile, he's perpetuating songs like what's the teenage fever and all this. Why is a 35-year-old man saying this for like teenage fever? You know, things like that. When Drake is every song Drake come out with, you talking about pushing the culture forward. Drake, every song for the last 3 albums is talking about fucking young girls, young women, right? Party girls and right, living this life. He's not doing nothing. Watch this. Every time 20 niggas done got killed since Drake been around. Have you ever heard him say George Floyd name? Or have we ever heard him say Sandra Bland? We heard him say something about like whips and chains. We heard him say he had the Benz like a whip and a chain. Well, we ain't never hear him say nothing about none of these people that's dying. Meanwhile, Drake is making millions, billions of dollars generating off of black people, black culture, right? He only hang out with us when it's time for him to sell a record, right? And so Kendrick says that, and it's not like us. Not like us. It's not like what's Drake's song where he's like dropping "Give Me 50" and you got small feet and your mother this. This not like us. It's about Drake using cultural appropriation and contaminating our culture with his bullshit that he's pushing. And that's a fact. That's a fact. What has Drake ever pushed? This, because we hold Kendrick to this standard. But what has Drake ever said in any song ever in the 15-year run that he's had that's been anything about pushing us as a people forward? Name one song.
Nothing.
Z said
I don't expect that from him. That's like expecting the blind to do something. He's a blind man. I don't expect him to do anything. Like that's wild. That's like I don't expect nothing like that to come out of his mouth. So I would never like if it came out, I'd be like, whoa, who did he talk to? What influenced him? Where did this come from? Like I love to see it, but he don't have it. But Kendrick do. That's why I was like, I expect more because he already created a like a basis of being able to have that.
So you listen to Kendrick.
Yeah.
You listen to Kendrick, right?
Yeah.
So then you heard the last album where he has a song where he says, "I am not your leader. The whole song, he just keeps repeating, I am not your leader. I'm not
Yes.
your God. I'm not on this
Right.
pedestal. You said he was some good guy who didn't have no faults. Every album, Kendrick telling you, I'm fucked up. I got
I
PTSD.
think
I
that we
got
should all
bipolar.
do
I
our
got
best
depression.
when we're put on certain platforms. We don't have time, energy, space to be
Floyd.
taking advantage of platforms that we have. We need to be pushing. I personally feel like that. So like when I step out, I know when I'm with my people, I can let loose and say whatever the hell I say. But on other platforms or in other spaces, when I know other ears are listening and able to be hearing what I'm saying, I make sure I say something of substance on a different level. And that's just point blank, period. And I just feel like for him, I just expected more off of that because of how I carry myself. I don't expect nothing more from the next person than I expect of myself. And I don't follow him like he's a leader. And I don't follow no man like he's a damn leader, because everybody's slipping and sliding out here. But I can acknowledge when somebody really doing the footwork, and like I can give him his cool points for like certain aspects, but overall there's certain things that we do not need to be repeating. And then as far as like energy, like I really think about the power of our words and the tongue, and like repeating things. We do not need to be repeating things like that. Like I think about like growing up, my mom used to listen to a lot of older music, and that music has so much substance in it, from the rap to the anything we've turned on, it has something of substance of it. And I'm just like, we need more of that and less of what's already out. Like, yeah, he needed to go ahead and say his shit, but he could have said it. I really feel like he could have did it a better way because of his talent. I'm not trying to take from him at all. But like, I just think he could have did more.
First of all, I felt like the whole performance was mid. I don't care. Like, I'm going to stand on that. That performance was dry. It did not do anything for me. Mike was low. It just, when I think about the Super Bowl, I do want to be entertained. Like, I don't think all the time we got to make everything about social justice issues all the time. Like, it is just is what it is. I felt like even if he is going to use the platform to do that, I think that there's a way to do that. And then, like, if you're giving this pro-black message and then you're out here talking about, say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. That shit is dumb. There's no reason why you're out there doing that. Like, seriously, like, we got to really think about the things that we are perpetuating and the things that we are allowing and that we're saying it's okay to do, because that's the biggest platform in the world and everybody saw it. And to me, that it was just mid. It was weak. I was not feeling none of that at all. And like
Has Kendrick ever been to Cell Block 1?
That's
How he
crazy.
know Drake could survive Cell Block 1 if he ain't never been?
He ain't never been himself. I mean, it's
I think that's for sexual predators.
Okay.
I think that's for
So
sexual
he wouldn't be
deviants,
there.
though.
Okay, so he wouldn't be there.
Yeah, I don't think that's for
I just feel
Kendrick. I
like
hope not.
we bought into hit him up because at that time it was way less social media, and we bought into Pac really being a thug and not being a actor and an artist and coming up with you know what I'm saying, revolutionary backgrounds. And I don't think majority, especially people from my age, we didn't know that shit, bro. Like a lot of people from my age,
wrong, Trey.
niggas ain't know that
You
shit, man.
did
That nigga
wrong.
died in 95, man. We was 6 years old,
You
getting
did
hip to
wrong,
that shit,
Trey.
man. 7, 8 years old, man. So
You did
a
wrong.
lot of us learned these things in documentaries at post-death. You feel me? In my
But you gotta consider, Trey. You gotta consider the source. Like, even when you're talking about Pop, the narrative is wrong and it's a bit misguided, right? Like, so just because he went to Baltimore School of the Arts for a year, right? For a year and took an acting class, doesn't mean that he also didn't live in the worst part of Baltimore, sleeping on the floor the whole time he was there, then move to Oakland and live in the worst projects in Oakland, and then have to drop out because his mother was sucking dick for crack,
but
and have to support his family with his little sister.
That's crazy.
I'm just being
niggas.
real.
No, I want you. Niggas love Pop. I'm just saying. I want you to keep rocking. I just want to say, niggas love Pop. I fuck with Pop music, but he actually got locked up for rape. Drake is getting alleged. He ain't get locked up for rape. I ain't say he got convicted. I'm saying he didn't get locked up for rape.
Sexual assault they ended up settling on forcibly touching the girl's buttocks when she was giving him head on the dance floor. That's what he ended up having to go up.
And that's copping,
up
right?
for. No, I mean that's the truth. I mean, I guess she did say.
Bro, that's copping, bro.
She said she sucked his dick on the dance floor.
He copped the plea. He say Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Puff. These niggas going down for the same shit.
The charge was never that Pac raped her. The charge was that Pac left her in the hotel room with his homeboys and they sexually assaulted her. And because Pac was the one who was with her, they saying like Pac lined it up. Pac like, I was done with you. We wasn't fucking around. You was fucking with them niggas and you already knew them niggas. And if you listen to people who was around now, since you talking about documentaries and interviews, people say the bride was around the whole time he was filming that movie up there, Bud the Rim. So people knew her.
If you love a nigga, you gonna say, yeah, man, he said, I had my relations with you and I left you alone and you knew all of them niggas. So you made your decision to go crazy. Or people that don't like him gonna say, nigga, you Tupac. So you did your thing with her, set her up so she can get a train ran on her by your homies. So it's like it's always gonna be two sides of the story, though. You feel me?
No, she knew the Haitian Jack niggas. She knew them Brooklyn niggas already.
But like when they was in the club, this how the shit. Niggas.
Look what I'm saying. How all that shit come out. Who knows if she even fucked them niggas at all? If she just came out screaming rape, rape, rape. You know what I mean? You know how that shit go.
Hell yeah.
I mean, and that's really part of what got Pac killed. But that's a whole nother story. But
I just be trying to understand where the line with us. Do we love America? Do we not love America? Do all artists get held to the same scale? Do different artists get held to different scales? And if so, why? I just be trying to understand in our culture. Because we don't have leaders. We don't have Malcolm X's and MLK's. Shit, we don't even have Muhammad Ali's, Angela Davis's. We don't have.
That's not true. That's not true. Trey.
And I'm just saying,
Trey, that's not true, Trey.
If we do have them, right, bro? I'm just saying they're not on the same pedestal that those people was in those times. And what we know about hindsight, all those people was hated when they was alive. So sometimes
it makes they wasn't on no pedestal back then.
But that's what I'm saying. So sometimes that make me look at the people that's hated today with the same scope of if 10 years, 20 years in hindsight, when our kids grow up and their stories are told in hindsight, are these people, is Floyd going to be a Muhammad Ali, but we didn't know all of the barriers that he had to go through because he couldn't tell in those certain times? Are we going to put more respect on these Megan Thee Stallions, Beyonce's, Jay-Z's, Kanye West's, Tory Lanez, whoever, the rap Puffies, whoever these people could be, Kendrick Lamar's, J. Cole's, Wale's, because everybody gonna have different stories in hindsight. So I just be wanting to know, while we living through it, how can we identify these people sometimes? So that's why I ask these questions, to push back so we could just get to some type of median, some type of bridge, because we're not going to agree on everything. But who should be the most respectable person in music, in media, in videography, filmography, as far as actors, you know what I'm saying, as far as politicians? I think sooner or later we should boil these conversations down to figure out who is doing it the right way and who is not. So just like these politicians, these entertainers, we could know who the champion.
It's all subjective. You know, it's all subjective.
For sure, man. And me personally, I don't like personal life. It's like when I was asking you about the Kendrick stuff, it ain't just pushing back. I just always looked at him like a Kanye, a backpack. I respected him for lyricism and being like a guy that was around it but wasn't in it. I know guys like that. I know guys that grow up, get jobs, get a little bit of money, and they start funding street life with real life and start acting like they was in it the whole time. And only guys that could let them know that that's not real is the guys that was in it all time, in the whole time. And then, in my opinion, when I know those type of guys, I get mad at those guys because I feel like, hey, you shouldn't be trying to, when you get good resources, bring these resources back to the streets and be a cool guy. You should be letting these guys that been in the streets the whole time, trying to be cool guys that still here, let them know, hey, dude, getting a job is how I got this house and this nice car. I shouldn't be trying to use this legal money and bring it back to y'all and be a big dog on the street because I got more resources, because y'all only way y'all know is this. I should try to enlighten y'all versus indulging y'all. And I feel like that shit happens full circle around our whole culture, bro. All the way up to music, everything, bro. Niggas get rich and want to be street. And I don't understand it.
Being realistic, a nigga like Corday couldn't never do what Kendrick came and did, right? I mean, it just couldn't happen, right? So you got to know that it's more than just he grew up right here or something like that. Like, you got to know that, like, his whole movement since he been around has been him embracing that culture, but also showing the elevated version of it. And we gotta be careful too. Like,
I'm from Siouxland, bro. Corday supposedly is from my neighborhood. I can't
that's
say
what I'm saying to you.
That's what I'm saying. I can't say Corday couldn't do that. I have no personal issue with Corday, bro. If Corday tapped in and we had real man conversations and he could understand, like, I'm not saying I'm the key holder, because it's endless people that's influential in Siouxland. I'm talking about from that neighborhood though. I'm saying I would like to explain to people like Corday, bro, that it's no point of coming around here and doing like street things and trying to perpetuate the street lights that you never been involved in this particular area. It's better to just tap into the people who don't have these resources, that actually are the thing that you're trying to perpetuate, and having them in your background is going to solidify you that, hey, man, he is rooted in this. He know people that's from this. So I'm not saying he can't do it, because it takes nothing but conversation. And I'm willing to have a conversation with him. But it's more, it doesn't make sense until you have the conversation with them people. You can't keep pulling up with people like your friends that you knew that lived in the back of the neighborhood. You put him in a video. He don't have no onus in that area. That just because you rich and you say you from here, that don't make him validated. You gotta really, and that's just, so I ain't saying it's impossible, because he can do it if he talks to somebody like people like me that's from that area, not just me, but keep popping up at the laundromat, keep popping up early in the morning around the neighborhood, shooting videos, trying to say, hey, this was I was from. You're not even capturing what this shit represent. So only people, like you said, the nationwide, the people that buy his music, only those people going to be fooled by it. So he has no necessity to really want the real thing, because album sales going to do what they're supposed to do. So even when O did said how he felt, and no, I talked to O. I don't feel like the messaging was right, but I feel like his intention was right. When DMV Hoods and News reincorporated that, the whole city hated him for that. He an old nigga, old rapper. He just want to be a part of it. Nobody understood that. It's like, hey, bro, you saying you from this place? It's people really from this place that do community work, that's really trying to give back to this place. Don't just come back to this place, shoot videos like, hey, this is where I'm from. It used to be real bad. It is real bad. Let me shoot videos around here. But you never come and indulge in the things that actually can uplift this. No, niggas don't even want your money. You can show up to book pack drive, book bag drives, back to school drives, turkey drives, peace walks, you know what I'm saying? Video shoots for other artists. And I would never say it's impossible.
I just think hip hop and rap is controlled by a bigger conglomerate. So when we're talking about the bigger conglomerate, I mean, we all know those other people who are in control of the distribution of hip hop, etc. And I think that message is being pushed intentionally most of the time, most gang related messages, all of those types of things. And I think that it's really hard for them, a lot of these artists, really to step outside of that gate and like not really be a part of the problem. I think that's the bigger issue here, is that we don't understand like who's really, what we do, but I think that it's not a full scope understanding of who actually controls hip hop and rap and what messages are being put out there to the people. So I just feel like anytime we see shoot 'em up or whatever it is, I just know that that's a bigger entity that is pushing that exact message and want us to engage in those messages. And I even would go as far as to say that, other groups engage in it more than us, to be honest. Like at that Kendrick Lamar show that he did, he performed in Not Like Us 5 times. Look at who was in the audience. The majority of the people was not Black people. So it's just like, it's just a lot. It's what's being perpetuated, what people are drawn to, like the drill era, for example, that coming up and that being like a major wave of gangster rap, a new wave of it, where there's like literally like they are known killers. And yeah, look, none of it is cute. It shouldn't be anything that we are continuing to perpetuate and think that that's okay to do when we're trying to elevate outside of those stereotypes that they say that we are. If we're trying to step away from that, why are we still engaging in that? So it's like, where do we be accountable for the things that we do? Because it's just kind of like, yeah, I think it's weird. It's like on one end, we can't say that we love our people, we love our communities, we want to give back to our communities, want to see our people grow. And then on the other end, I'm talking about shooting and killing niggas. No, that's not it. That's a contradiction to me. And if we are like, we don't even own hip hop, our art form, the art form that our people created that came from this land. We don't even own it, and we've allowed it to be perpetuated this way. And it wasn't always this way. Like, I mean, I started J. Cole. I'm glad he did not immerse himself into this entire situation. I'm kind of glad he just backed away from all of that and tried to, whatever.
Hold up. Any final thoughts? We can keep cooking, but I don't want to. I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to edit a 4-hour video. But if y'all want any final thoughts, and then I'll wrap it up, and then we can stay on stream and keep cooking.
I was just about to say. I was just going to say that J. Cole put out a song during this whole thing. It was really positive and uplifting the culture. It was called Grippy, where he was telling the girl her pussy was so good and grippy. So, I mean, what we talking about, right? I'm just saying, we talk about these niggas like they like there's a comparison, and it's not. Like we don't know what Bad Bunny's singing about when he up there.
Can you repeat the other part that you said? I missed the other part you said. I'm sorry.
I don't know what part I was saying.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Let me wrap it so we can just do an extended version. Hold on. What a show. Huge thank you to Councilman Calvin Hawkins for joining us tonight. Huge thank you for all of my panelists, man. Y'all really, really brought the heat tonight, man. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all insight was amazing. Y'all energy was amazing. We covered a lot of topics. Some topics we couldn't even cover because we had certain topics that was just so fire that it was just relentless, man. If you love today's episode, we definitely gonna put it up, the channel, the YouTube channel, and we're gonna put up last episode up. Please follow the Sice Room, man. I hope y'all tune in. We here every Tuesday, man, 9 o'clock. Please, please, please tune in. We love, we respect, and we appreciate y'all.